Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to race number 4, season number 7 of the BACC Charities Tyler Daniels Racing Veterans and First Responders League. I don't know how long it took Washington to cross the Delaware, but we are here in Dover, Delaware, and I bet these guys could do it a lot quicker. I am joined in the booth, as always, by my co-host, Jay Downham. How you doing, Jay?
I am doing just fine tonight. Feel like I am back home in Dover, Delaware. This is also the home track of quite a few of our NASCAR drivers. So it's good to see them out here getting some laps. Race 4. It's been an exciting season so far. Nobody has really ran away with it. We have 3 different winners. Well, we have a fourth one tonight. What do you think, Tommy?
Um, it could go either way. A lot of racing left in the season. This is only the fourth race. It kind of comes in that fall, Thanksgiving, and Halloween area. So we're gonna have a couple off weeks for this season. It's only the fourth race in. I believe we're off next week, and then we go to Michigan on November 7th, which is when we'll be back on the air. It's gonna be a crazy night tonight. This track is tough on tires. These guys are gonna have to have some patience, and if they get a couple yellow flags, I think they're gonna be looking for rubber every time they go in.
So this is one place you cannot go without tires tonight, and we are missing a couple of our drivers tonight, which life got in the way. Race winner Ryan Shelton did not make an appearance tonight, so he must be working or having something going on this evening. Andrew Bisnet, who is our series regular, and race control runs this whole thing. He has off tonight. He is actually vacationing. Um, Bradley Hunt, who is another admin, is out tonight, and we're going to miss those guys. So Bob Berlew, which you'll see up on your screen there, is actually stepping in. So thank you, Bob, for stepping in and taking over for race control tonight for these guys, and we appreciate it. Andrew and Brad, we're going to miss you guys, but we've got 11 drivers out there, and it's going to be a fun evening here in Dover.
Absolutely, and we really do appreciate Bob stepping in. It's funny, on the scoreboard, he is going to be scored last tonight, which I know is going to hurt because last week he got his first TDR win and clinched his first TDR championship.
That is very true. So we're going to have a very, very hard night of racing tonight. I've seen a lot of guys off of turn 2 seems to be that spot. Every time we come to Dover, it's overstressed. No matter whether it's in real life, whether it's in iRacing, coming off of turn 2 is that you coming out of that backstretch, you have such a run, and then it lifts up and it gets that car light on the backside and it pushes you up towards the fence. And that's a fun ride if you like to take it full strength. A lot of guys I've seen, do get around, and that's going to be the trouble spot no matter what time you come. So right about here, it's going to go right up, and it shortens right there. And if you got a good run up there near that fence, it's going to catch you and throw you down the backside. Dover is known as a self-cleaning track. You can just tell the banking on this thing if you want to go in car with one of these drivers. We'll see. As you see right there, number 1 got around. As we were mentioning before. So yeah, there you go.
The number one just illustrated that point perfectly. We've seen these next gen cars, they handle well, but they can get very snappy. So if you're not in complete control of that car, especially coming off of 2, it will get around on you, as the number 1 just demonstrated for us so gracefully.
Yeah, and I mean, it's one of those tracks where you have to be on control. Loose is fast here, that is for sure. You can't be tight because it's going to throw you up to the outside as we take a ride around here with Chuck McDonald. Self-cleaning track. There is no flat spots around here. Everything dumps to the inside. So you go to the outside, you're being thrown to the bottom as soon as they come down, as we see a car spinning right there. As mentioned, Bob Wilson again down on that bottom side. And that's what we're going to see all night. If these guys are going to take it to the edge of control. As Evan Zimmerman here, it's a 9-degree on the banking. I believe it's 36 in the turns. And it is just
2 here on the exit of 2 this time by.
And right about there, right underneath that tunnel, it's going to throw you up, and you can see that wall just jump out at you. And it does actually, you can't really see it from this side as you're driving, but if you were to take a shot right along that wall, it does actually point inside. So it does come back in towards you, more towards the back before widening back out. You don't see that on the front stretch. You see it widening there, and then it'll widen out here, going through turns 1 and 2, and then as soon as you come back onto that back stretch, it's going to widen and come back to you right underneath that sign, and that's where the trouble is going to happen. And you have to have really good car control all night. 2 wide racing, 3 wide racing I've seen. They do have room to run 3 here, but I do not see where that's going to be happening too much tonight. If it does, it's going to be very, very quick. 3 wide, if not ending in a caution or somebody backing out, because you cannot come off of those turns 3 wide. It's just not going to work.
Yeah, I don't think we're gonna have a ton of yellow tonight with several of the guys. I think three of them in counting that are having some family stuff they got to handle, some personal business. We do have a smaller field than usual, which will play into everyone's favor, unless they're not saving tires. If they're not saving tires, they're gonna be begging for that yellow. But I don't think we're gonna see a ton of yellow flags tonight.
Nah, as this league always just seems to go green, uh, checkered usually without any cautions. We may see one, maybe two if these guys just, early on in the run when the tires are not up to par, or even later on in the run after the tires wear off, they may even get a little bit loose. As you see there, I mean, they're just pushing it too hard coming down. Pit road's going to be one of the hot spots tonight as well. A lot of the top drivers we've noted in the past, and I'm sure if you've been following this league for the past few seasons has been trouble spot is pit road, and going from basically going about 150 160 down to 35 miles an hour and coming off of that banking going onto a flat. It is one of the trickiest pit roads in any form of racing, whether it's in real life or in iRacing. So it's very fun to get on that backstretch, take it out as far as you can go, but you got to be careful. You can spin it, and you can lock up the brakes. You can hit that outside barrier, and I think we've seen a couple of drivers hit the outside yellow barriers going into the pits. So you got to be very, very careful getting down pit road tonight. So that could be a factor or a player tonight. So there's a lot of things you got to look out for here and over there. They don't call it the monster mile for nothing. It is a mile long. Yeah, as you can see, they're doing 23-second laps, right? And that's pretty quick for 1 mile. And it's exactly 1 mile. The only track that I believe is exactly 1 mile. It's concrete, and you don't have to worry about the asphalt eating up the tires, but it's more the asphalt
I
chewing
noticed
them up.
the 04 here, Chuck McDonald, right?
That's Chuck McDonald.
Not running the Forces.ca paint scheme this evening.
He must have not had time to put it on this evening, but yeah, he is running. That's kind of an older scheme. I think we've seen him in that one before. He's in the airborne car there.
Yeah, it's still a military theme scheme, but not the one I'm used to seeing him in. That Forces.ca with the chrome letters on it really pops. Good looking car here too, but just not what I was expecting.
Maybe it's superstitious because I believe in one of the other series he ran in the next gen car, he did win with that paint scheme as well. So it may be one of those things where it may be a good luck. He may try it out and see if he can't pull another one out the hat.
Well, tonight might be the night. We've seen him win before. Maybe he could win again.
Absolutely.
About 2 minutes left in practice. Let's go ahead and run through some of these sponsors that we have. All wonderful people that have helped us out throughout the years and throughout the seasons here. McConey Setup Shop LLC, apparel, setups, paint schemes, coaching sessions, setup guidebooks. These guys really do have it all. They just launched their new broadcasting enterprise as well. So Jeff McConey, a big friend of TDR, doing some big things out there with McConey Setup Shop. Check them out, McConeySetupShop.com. Their setups, your victories. Of course, BACC charities help them keep the fun funded. They assist with putting all of this on. This is a little something that Andy and myself started years ago to help make the dollars make sense and give some direction to point the charitable efforts of the TDR community somewhere where it was more valuable instead of just, helter-skelter raising money and giving it somewhere. We kind of put a purpose to it now. BACCcharities.com if you would like to look at our mission and support what we do. Of course, B&B Wraps out of Pennsylvania. The guy over there has sponsored the trophies for all 7 seasons now. We appreciate him so much for doing that. Very cool looking trophy boards. These guys get to hold on the wall. One guy on that racetrack actually has 2 of them now, and they look pretty slick. Check him out from coffee cups to semi-trucks. He can get a wrap for you. Facebook.com/B.B Racing Wraps. And of course, Tyler Daniels Racing.
We have racing 7 nights a week at 8 p.m. starting on Sunday nights with the Gas and Go series. We just started going into the round of 16. We're going to be narrowing that down, so that'll be wrapping up in a few weeks here on Monday nights. As always, right here on BACC Sports is the Vets and First Responders League. This Mondays have always been dedicated to the vets and first responders, and it's the only one that we do live YouTube on. On Tuesday nights is our popular series with Jim Downham. It's the Tuesday Truckin' Series. Always a popular one. We get lots of drivers out for that one. Wednesday nights, right now, we're in the Xfinity Series. On Thursdays features the SR8s, where we're doing a whole bunch of short tracking, and we're experimenting a little bit more with the road tracks, even though we're not really known as a road track league, but everybody seems to be having fun with that. So come on out on Thursday nights. On Friday nights is the Evolve Series. We're wrapping up the Evolve Series with the Friday Night Lights well, we'll be going back to street stocks in about 3 more weeks. But if you want to come out and get your taste of the trucks, come on out and join us every Friday night at 8 p.m. On Saturday mornings is the only time that we do have a morning session, and that is dedicated for our Legends series at 9 a.m. So you can come out and race Tyler Daniels, who that is designed for. Come out and run Tyler in the Legends series at 9 a.m. And then once again at 8 p.m. is the 87s just start up. I believe they're in the third or fourth week right now
Yep.
with Bob Burlew. So if you want to race the old 87s, some of the older tracks, come on out and enjoy that. Touch your metal there. I know that's a big series. Everybody enjoyed it and is enjoying it from what I understand going through the series. So 7 nights a week, 8 p.m. If you're interested, come out, and you got to go to Tyler Daniels Facebook. Look us up, become a member of the page, and from there we'll be able to get you in any league. The sign-up sheet is on there. So come on out and join us at Tyler Daniels Racing at TDRleagues.com.
I think you get as much sponsor time as I do on air now, having run through all the stuff that TDR runs weekly. Jeez, that's a lot.
Yeah, it is, but you know what? We have fun, and we're always out here, and it's a family. Like you said, it's the 5 F's that we have, so it's family fun,
Fast.
and fast, and
I don't know.
furious, and
I don't remember all the F's.
right.
I should have wrote that down.
But we're going in a session of qualifying here, and good luck to everybody out there in YouTube land. Thank you for tuning in. Appreciate it. Ethan's out there in Thompson Drone Work. James Weathers, can't wait for it tonight. Sister Sookie's out there again. Jim was bragging on my third place finish last night at Talladega in the Gas and Go series to start that off. So thank you guys. I appreciate that.
Yeah, good job.
Jim says, nice mic, Tommy. So your mic is working, Tommy. So way to go. That was definitely worth the investment. We'll have to
Yeah,
that out there.
Jay and I joked on air that my last mic, as it had gone out, nobody could hear me. So I bought a mic where you could hear everything. I think I've got the settings dialed into where you can't hear too much background noise, but if you do hear me playing with the change in my pockets or something, I apologize in advance. We'll get it set up a little better next weekend.
Sounds good out there. They haven't really had any complaints. I mean, the past few weeks, people are saying they can't hear you. So hopefully we can get this all evened out. If one is louder than the other, it's just something we're going to have to play with. And hey, that's what we're out here for. We're out here calling these guys and the vets and first responders, trying to put on a good show and showcase everybody out there. David May says hello all. And Puppet Master, I believe that's Brian Boyd, says I'm going to be trashing Jim Downham, who said the pit road is the worst entrance and speed. And I assure you there will be penalties and a possible spin or two. So I'm sure there will be a possible spin or two, especially under green flag. Yellow flag, not so much because you're under speed. But yeah, if these guys are coming down for a green flag stop, that's going to be one exciting race to watch. That's for sure.
Yeah, it looks like most everybody has gotten their qualifying laps in. At least the top 6 have hit the track. I want to go ahead and throw that schedule up there again, just to remind everybody we are off next weekend for Halloween. It falls on a Tuesday, I believe. So we want to make sure that, everyone has a chance to get the kiddos out and get their trick-or-treating without having to stay up too late watching this awesome stuff. But we will be back November 7th for the 5th race taking place at Michigan, and that'll put us almost halfway through the season.
Yeah, I mean, once we come out of it's amazing. We're going through January 26th, I believe, is the last 16th or 26th, something like that. Maybe the 16th.
It's currently it's the 16th at North Wilkesboro, but I do believe the 26th and the 2nd, December 26th and January 2nd, may or may not be moved due to holiday travel. We'll have to talk with the drivers.
Yeah, that second one, the Roval may be moved back, so it may push the schedule back a little bit. But Paul chimes in. Good luck, everyone, tonight from the coast of California on vacation.
Now, we appreciate it, Paul. Sounds like a great place to be vacationing.
Absolutely. Just don't fall in the ocean.
With the rest of the state?
But no, we miss you out here, Paul, tonight. Paul's one of our drivers out here, and he's another one that can come out here and shake things up. Love to see Paul out here, and firefighter out of Lake Tahoe.
Yeah, I've got the cameraman set to auto. So, as cars come on and off track, they should pop up on the screen here, so we don't have to keep our eye on pit road so much. Yeah, Dover, man, 1 mile of really, really abrasive track surface.
Yeah, it is, but it has so many lanes, because we've seen a lot of guys that could run the top lane. If you can keep that momentum, you can keep it up, but that's a tough line to run up there. Also known as the Richard Petty and Harry Gant lane is that top lane. They're the ones that really ran that in. And I think it was here that somebody asked him, Richard, why do you run the top lane? And he just simply said, it's not so far when I hit the wall, so it doesn't hurt as much. And that was later on in his career. So,
Have
but
you
no, I mean,
have you
one of
ever?
those.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Go ahead.
I was gonna ask, have you ever had the chance to go to the NASCAR Hall of Fame in Charlotte?
No, I have not. I was in Charlotte for the Coca-Cola 600, and I was there on a couple of things, but I've never made it to the NASCAR Hall of Fame. So it is on my to-do list when I go down there. But I believe you guys just went recently, correct, on the
Ye-
track days?
Yeah, for a TDR track days, and the reason I bring it up is we talked about the abrasive track surface, and we talk about track surface often, asphalt versus concrete, abrasive versus smooth, etc. They actually have little chunks of many of the racetracks out there with the banking, so you can touch the track and actually see how steep it is, and there's little walking areas where you
Mhm.
can get on there and just try to stand on Daytona.
Yeah, it's pretty steep. It doesn't look that steep on TV as these guys go around, but that's that force that just keeps them to the track, which allows them to have that top speed. Which is why Bristol is another one that's got one of the bigger bankings. If I'm not mistaken, I think Bristol is one of the highest of the
Bristol
concrete.
Bristol is third, or it would be the highest of the concrete. I think it's third or fourth overall. Talladega being the steepest bank of all of them.
As we see Chuck taking his lap, here comes a fan favorite there, Ethan Thompson in that drone works, and this would be a home track for Ethan as well.
Oh, that's very true. And for those of you who haven't looked at Ethan's sponsor, the DroneWorks thing that he does, he actually takes drone footage all over the country for real estate purposes. If you're trying to sell your house, you really want a really nice picture from above ground. He just posted some videos of a car show recently that were really awesome to look at. So he's doing some cool stuff with that DroneWorks.
Yeah, he is. He does really, really great work. In fact, I think he had a shot of, I think, Michael Jordan's yacht on one of his pages. So
Yes,
go
yes.
check him out. Yeah, so you can go check him out at, I think it's thompsondroneworks.com is the address for that. And
Yeah, he's got a Facebook page too. I think it's ET Drone Home, which I think is kind of clever.
right, and if you would like to actually see a few of the races, I believe he does also in car as well as Blair Patterson. So if you'd like to look at a few races and see what we are before you even like to join, you can follow Ethan Thompson and Blair Patterson both on Twitch and YouTube, or not YouTube, but Twitch and Facebook.
Yeah,
They
Blair
do live events.
Patterson was the gentleman we went to go visit when we were up in Charlotte and got to go to the Hall of Fame with the TDR track days. And he races probably half the TDR leagues, and he always streams them live from in-car. Great to hang out in his streams too. He's got a really great personality and is really entertaining to watch.
Absolutely, and for those of you that do not know, Blair Patterson was actually a gas man for one of the teams. So,
He was.
uh, as we have a lot of talent that come out and support TDR, and it's great. So,
Brian
and
Boyd coming
David
back
May
to
said,
take
I
some
heard
laps there.
someone say Dega. Yeah, we went to Dega, and we're going back to Dega in these cars in a couple weeks. So that ought to be another fun one. As we're watching this gentleman right here, speaking of Talladega, this man is
Oh,
on fire when it comes to super speedway racing. Anytime that he is on track, he is a threat to be reckoned with. He is a force to be reckoned with. It's only a matter of time before he gets that win. He's just got to learn how to reel it in, and it's tough. I mean, racing these guys on a weekly basis is tough enough, but then you have the caliber of talent that's out there, and to bring one of these home and win it. But Brian Boyd is one that is capable. He's very fast. Count on him every week. Do never ever count him out. So he's in the Mission 22 car.
yeah, absolutely. He's always in contention for at least a top five, barring any unforeseen issues he has on track. Unless it's at a road course, I think the road courses is kind of up in the air for everybody.
Yeah, there's only one that you can really count on for
Right.
for road course racing, and that would be Ryan Shelton. And that man is
Yeah, he is
he's an
definitely a class
alien.
he's a class above when it comes to that type of racing in particular, for sure.
Yeah, he is an alien when it comes to that. I mean, it's just amazing just watching him take on a road course. It's, I think I'm pretty sure that, some of the actual road course racers in the IndyCar League, Formula One, will probably watch him to get some tips because, man, he is just ultra fast.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ultra fast in those.
The Facebook post that went out on the BACC Sports page actually mentioned them licking their wounds from Watkins Glen last week. Cause it's a rough race for people that are primarily oval drivers to start making a handful of right-handers. It's a lot to ask of them, and they did a great job trying.
Yeah, absolutely. And I give credit to everybody that, like I said, you have to go out there. We need to expand our horizons just beyond ovals. I mean, ovals were great. They're a good way to get around, but in real life as well, they're expanding more and more into road course racing.
Hmm.
And turning left, turning right, the more you do that, the better you become. And you can't be scared of it. You gotta get out there, and yeah, you may finish like one of the worst races you'll ever run, but you're good. It's the seat time and it's the experience, and then pretty soon it will be. You'll have that where you have the confidence going out where you can tackle any road course, and you're not so timid to go out there. I would say. As
Pace
we've
cars on the
got the
track.
official starting lineup here, so Tommy, let's take this from when these guys get lined up. Sitting on the pole with a time of 23:12 is in that Thompson Dronework Chevrolet is Ethan Thompson. On the outside is Robert McDonald, also in the Chevrolet. And position number 3, Devin Zimmerman, who had a top practicing time in the Mission 22 Honeycomb Chevrolet or Toyota Camry. On the outside of him, we have Jason Hall in the WWE Rock Hall. Also another Chevrolet on the field. Starting in the 5th position is Chuck McDonald, who we saw he's not gridded up yet, but Chuck is out there, and he started in the 5th position. And right here in the 6th is Brian Boyd. In the 7th position is Andrew Spears, who has had a tear lately here, so I wouldn't count him out. And he's got the Faith, Hope, and Love breast cancer awareness for his mother-in-law. Toyota Camry right there on the outside of him is Robert Cochran in that number 90 Navy Ford Mustang. The only Ford I've seen that's the highest Ford that's posted in 8th position. In the 9th position is Paul Bilson in that number 1 Ford Mustang as well. And he needs a sponsor on that car. So if anybody's looking to get their name out there, contact Paul Bilson. I'm sure he'd love to put your name on the side of that. On the outside of him is run the 10th position is Robin Pardon in that Northern Tool Equipment Chevrolet. And then finishing out the field is Ryan Elmore in the number 26, and that is a good looking car.
I was just gonna say this is the first shot I've really seen of the hood of his car. Typically, we've had so many cars on track, it's hard to run through the whole field pre-race. But man, the hood of that car looks great.
Yeah, he was getting a lot on the side too, so I mean it's a great looking car for sure. Very
Trying to see
with
if
the
I have a
American spirit on it there.
better angle of it.
Because I think they're waiting for Chuck to grid before they take off, and there goes Chuck in. Now that is a secret that I'm going to just let out here, and everybody will find out. He is going to go in, keep the engine off. He won this race on fuel strategy. So the more you sit on there, you're going to use up fuel on pit road. If you can wait till the very last second to go in, keep your car turned off, turn the ignition switch off, you're going to actually, with the fuel, so saving a little bit of fuel. So every little bit helps, and that's how he won, and that's how Chuck will always start one of these races here at Dover. Be the last one in, turn the engine off, wait till everybody gets ready to go, last few seconds, jump in, turn the car on, and then take off.
Yeah, and again, Chuck is running that alternate paint scheme tonight, so if you're looking for that black and red Forces.ca car, Chuck ain't in it. He's in this chrome and military brown, and I guess baby blue airborne. Oh, it just says airborne.
Yeah, it's airborne Forces car, so he's got the
Little love tap there with Devin Zimmerman.
Evan Zimmerman.
Yeah, he feels about that after the green flag drops. The pace car's off. We are going to go 125 laps.
25 laps as Ethan Thompson gets a good little jump in front of Robert McDonald. Devin Zimmerman's going to go down to the inside as these guys are going to get their warmed up as number 64. Jason Hall goes to the outside and is going to force the issue, but then falls right back behind Robert McDonald as Ethan gets a good jump coming down into turn number 3 there out of turn number 4. What a jump he got. He's going to get a good lead coming up there. So, ooh, tap already on the outside wall. Somebody gets around. That's going to be a caution on lap 2. As we saw, it was that there that spun around. That was the number 60.
Jason Hall originally looks like he just caught Ryan Elmore at the very end of it.
Yeah, Jason Hall just took it a little bit, got a little bit loose coming out of there. Taps, got tight.
Oh.
Just got tight. Smacked that outside wall, and yeah, there was no collecting. It just collected the number 26 car we were just talking.
Well,
Ryan Elmore.
2 laps in. I'm not sure if we're going to need tires now, but I mean, I would come and get some.
Fuel strategy, I don't think is going to be anything that you're going to want to. It's too early for tires because you got to get those tire pressures built up. They didn't even go one lap without getting the tire pressures built up. So I'd want to stay out. You know, you're at least after 25, 30 laps, I would think about getting tires. But right now, yeah, I mean, there's still you're gaining absolutely nothing by pitting right now.
Yeah, we're kind of short tracking here too, so I would think Jason Hall would have to come in to get some repairs, but Ryan Elmore might have escaped any critical damage. Arrow won't play a huge factor here, so that was just a light tap, he might be able to stay up.
Yeah, I'm taking a look at his car right now as he's coming by. There's a little bit of crinklage on the passenger side there. You can just see that flag build in. It may not. He's got a crinkle on the front, but
Yeah, the spoiler's got a little wrinkle in it, maybe a little flatter on the nose than it should be. And
I don't think it's going to hurt him too much, especially at the 1 mile track. Arrow's not really that big. As long as the performance of the engine is fine and he will not blow up. But yes, Jason Hall did come down. He had to have taken his
that is
quick
Jason
repair.
Hall on pit road, so I think Ryan Elmore's gonna run around and try to make that work for him. I really don't think it'll affect him too badly.
Now, it shouldn't be too bad. I mean, it's going to affect him a little bit, but if he can stay out of trouble, just get those tire temps back up, get back in, at least go to the first round of pit stops, take that quick repair, he's not going to lose that much. So it's kind of a good call to stay out right now, or if you are going to come down, because it is a short pace lap, so even if you have to take, not the required, but if there's only 45 seconds of optionals, you may be able to get that done. Anything more than that, you're going to be losing a lap. So let's stay out, see what it brings. I mean, we're lap 2, so we'll be going back to green about lap 5 or 6 here. I'm not sure. Does the pace car have the lights off?
Lights should be off this time. I know lights are off now, so he will be ducking in this time. But it looks like Ryan Elmore actually kind of faked the pit road there for a second.
Maybe he thought about it and was, oh, we got 1 to go. I don't know if I have enough time to do all that. So
might have been a little bit of indecision. Might have been a little bit of a, well, they expect me to pit. Let me see if I can get anybody to come behind me.
Right. Jason Hall has been in there for a while. I'm not sure if he did not check his quick repair. Maybe he thought he could just take optionals, and maybe there's a lot more required because he is sitting on pit road for a lot longer. Is now 1, possibly 2, danger going 3 laps down early in the race after that incident. So
I'm showing him 3 laps behind as they sit on the backstretch. So this will be 4 laps behind when they take the green. And maybe more. He hasn't withdrew from the race yet. He's just in there getting
yeah, I think he just
repairs.
did not take that. He should have taken the optionals there. Or the quick repair, and I don't think he had it checked. So as we're ducking back down here, as we're getting back ready to go green, the Geico restart zone. Green is in the air, and Ethan Thompson gets a nice little jump out on that bottom side, and Devin Zimmerman got a slower start than I would have expected, especially for Zimmerman. Maybe he took off in the wrong gear. Maybe he took off in third. I mean, that was kind of unexpected as you see Brian Boyd go underneath and take over that second spot going down the backstretch there. So lap 6 of 125, these things are going to click off fast. It's going to be a fast race tonight. As now Ethan Thompson brings it around. He led every lap so far in this event. But you got hungry Brian Boyd. As we see Jason Hall now coming back on the track, he's officially danger going 5 laps down now.
I'll be showing him 5 laps down next time by.
As that's a good little shot as you see him just diving out of that turn number 2, just trying to collect it up. And it's hairy because you're chasing the guy in front of you and you want to hit that gas, but that's when Monsters grabs you and says, I don't think so. I'm going to take that right away from you.
Oh, Miles.
So it is a rhythm track. They are going to lose. Tires are definitely going to play into effect in this. So, I mean, you can short pit, try and get some time that way. I don't know if 125 laps, not sure exactly what the fuel run would be in these cars at the present moment, but it could be 1, could be 2, depending on the strategies that they're going to take. Ethan Thompson has a comfortable little lead right now. I mean, he's just maintaining a half a second, about 6-7 car lanes over Brian Boyd. And it's about 5 car lanes back to Devin Zimmerman and the rest of the pack. And I'm surprised that Devin Zimmerman is most likely just saving his equipment right now, knowing that there's going to be fall off. We've seen this happen before where Brian Boyd will have a nice little run up there. Ethan Thompson, all of a sudden those cars will start to fade. And Devin, who has been known to save his equipment, will be back there at the end. But there's a nice little battle building up here for 4th, 5th, and 6th there is Robert McDonald, Andrew Spears, and Chuck McDonald. And Chuck has been hungry lately. He does have that win, the first win in the season here. And ever since then, Chuck, like I said, he's got a strategy. We used to say Chuck kind of stay back in the pack and then
look
run
at him
up through the field, but he's
giving the
gotten
chrome horn there to Andrew Spears.
He's gotten more aggressive over the course of the racing with TDR, and the more that he races with these guys. And somebody took a little bit of a hit to the backside there, kind of fell back. That not sure who that was, but it might have been
three
Robert
ponies there right in line too.
Oh, as we see the number 10 of Robert Cotton, Robert McDonald, who's being chased by Chuck McDonald, gets that outside. So tires are still building up, but yeah, Ethan Thompson still maintaining that lead. This is a good little battle right here for 4th, 5th, because you got Andrew Spears now diving down underneath the car, almost going to take it 3 wide. Chuck McDonald and Paul Bilson looks underneath, tried, almost took it 3 wide there, thought the better of it. As Chuck is just marching his way to the front. Car looking really good. So, just gets up a little bit. There wasn't any contact there, but Paul Bilson is a little bit sideways as we see him just collecting it down that backside. So he's really overdriving that car going into coming out. And it's not hard to do to overdrive those cars.
Not at all.
As you see Robin Pardon now just trying to collect it up. But yeah, just a few more laps. Paul Bilson, we've seen him in practice just, it's easy. You want to get on that gas, but it's kind of putting an egg underneath that gas pedal, and you want to crush it as you're coming out of the turn, and not a moment too soon before that. But when you're racing somebody, sometimes your brain gets in the way of your foot, and your foot just takes over.
Yeah, you mentioned
and that's it.
You mentioned it a handful of laps ago. It really is a rhythm check. It's smoothly get onto the throttle and then get off the throttle and then get back on the throttle. And I think there's some favorites out there that are really good at that rhythm style of racing. There's some guys out there that are going to struggle a little bit. I think Chuck is already asserting some dominance. Devin Zimmerman and Ethan Thompson, probably 3 of the favorite guys out here to run some of that rhythm racing. And you got Robert Cochran just behind them looking really good right now.
Yeah, Robert Cochran, we talk about him race in and race out. He is kind of like one of those drivers that at any given moment, if something should happen, he could be there to collect a win. He always races hard, and is always out here. So he's seen a lot of guys come and go, but he is constantly in the fight. And, if he can keep it together, well, I think one of these times it's only a matter of time before Michigan. I predict Michigan may be Robert Cochran's track to win. He does have a lot of success. And, as we see Bilson, as he gets inside Robin Pardon, that's going to be another caution thrown on the field. 2 drivers out there. Caution should. There's
that
the caution.
Up real quick as the flag flies here. Looks like just stepped out a little bit. What actually started way back in the center of the corner right here.
And we've been seeing
continued all the way through exit, halfway down the backstretch, and unfortunately collected Robin Pardon in the midst of it. Doesn't look like a ton of damage there. These guys might be okay.
Yeah, he didn't. I mean, it was just a slight tap on Robin Pardon. Pardon took the worst of it, slamming that outside wall. Hopefully there's no damage to his car there. He can go and get a quick repair. But man, what a race that was. And we've seen Bilson just get loose lap after lap. And I mean, he's just pushing a little bit too hard there. And unfortunately just collected Robin Pardon in that.
Yeah, a bit of a gap there on the bumper on the left front. The right front seemed pretty good from what I could see.
He's got a little bit of a damage right there to the
jumping ahead of Paul Bilson here. I think his damage is probably going to be on the back.
Yeah, right there. You see a little bit of crinklage. That shouldn't be too much of an issue going through there. As you see these guys start to go around, kind of a couple of wave arounds. We did see Ethan Thompson, Brian Boyd. A lot of the top drivers did take their pit stops. So everybody's going to come down for pit on lap 18, 19 out of 125. So it's been so far 2 cautions have flown over the field, more than we've normally seen in some of these, especially with a shorter field. But these guys, it's giving them a hard time tonight. So Miles really isn't letting these drivers get away with anything, as we've seen a lot of drivers, even the ones up front, get a little bit loose, but they were able to collect it and get out of rhythm.
Brian Boyd won the race pretty handily off the pit road there, I believe. Ethan
Yeah, Ethan,
Thompson.
he must have had a speeding penalty or something must have happened where they held him. Maybe he overshot his pit because he was leading this race and now is going to fall way back to the very back of the pack.
We talk about it a lot that at the beginning of these veteran and first responder league races is that, pit stops have been the Achilles heel of some of the fastest guys out there, and we might have just seen that again with Ethan Thompson.
Yeah, it's fortunate he's not going to lose a lap, but he is going to fall way back. So go from leading the first 18, 19 laps, and now he's going to have a little bit more work to do to get back up through that field. And it's easier when you're in front of the field because you have all that air on the front of you. You're going to have a lot of dirty air coming off of that diffuser now to try and get around these drivers. So we'll see how that shakes out in the end. Can he go? Oh, can he go, if it goes green, the checkered? Is he able to pass everybody, or is it going to become another pit call strategy? With 20, I do not think that they can go 120 laps. Or about 105 laps. I do not think that's going to be a fuel run. So more than likely there will be another pit stop or two in between here, depending on how things shake out. But Paul Bilson right now, he did
Currently the
not
race
pit.
leader.
He did not pit. He stayed out there. I'm surprised he didn't
He was
pit
the
on
one that
that one.
drew that yellow flag too, but by the process of getting it straightened back out and then ended up being the only guy who didn't pit. If he doesn't duck in this time by before those lights go off, he's going to be our new leader.
He did officially get a lap, so he is going to get that point for leading a lap under caution. So you do get 1 point for leading a lap, a point for qualifying first. So, I mean, and then you also have stage points, don't forget. So by the time it all shakes up, stage points do come into play. So these guys are not just racing for position, but they're also racing for stages. And we all know how points can play out in this thing as we got one to go. At the line, they double up. And that's going to be an interesting start because you have the entire field now on 4 fresh tires,
Well,
and Bilston out there is on older tires. So
I think that might have strictly been a 1 point strategy there. If he goes in and pits, he ends up kind of towards the back of the field where he was when he began. He just got to get 1 point under caution, and his tires are 20 laps older than the other guys, so he's going to fall back just because his equipment's not up to snuff. And we're about to see it play out here as... Oh, they're on the back stretch. I'm sorry. I thought they were coming out of 4. But anyway, a 1 point strategy. He goes in there, gets the point. That's a point he wouldn't have had if he had pitted. He probably doesn't have enough damage to maybe require a repair. The tires won't be there, but he got that point, and that point's valuable.
yeah, but now that's going to be a huge strategy though, because now you're going to have a whole bunch of fast guys that are going to try to get around him. And how are they going to do it? You know what I mean? That's definitely going to force some issues as the pace car ducks down on the pit road as we get back to racing here on lap 21 of 125. And Bilson's, there it is. And he gets that jump out there. He's going to I think the rest of the guys just let him go through so that way they can get single file and maybe get around him. That might have been a strategy call on the part of the rest of the field, because everybody did hang back as Bilson took off there, and now they're going to get side by side here. But you got Andrew Spears right on the inside of Brian Boyd. Are they going to split them going down into turn number 3? No, they're going
Wouldn't recommend it.
It looked like they were, though. Maybe try it on the outside. Ooh,
Oh.
there is another caution, and Paul Bilson gets loose. He is just having a tough time and takes out, oh man, Andrew Spears, who, I mean, that's a rough call right there. Andrew Spears was looking really racy in the beginning. I mean, he put his car, where did he start in this field? Let's go back and see here where he started. He started, what, 7th? He did start 7th. Okay, I thought he started further up in the field, but I know he was racy in foreign practice, so his aim up towards the top of the charts, and yeah.
Yeah, he was looking good in practice. Didn't qualify well. Obviously, has a fast hot rod out there. He was up to 3rd place when that happened. Unfortunate for him. And I think Paul Bilson will probably come in for tires this time by.
Yeah, it's hard, I mean, this is a tough little track, and when your car is loose like that, it makes it even tougher, especially trying to stay up front in front of this field. And we've seen Paul just get loose everywhere tonight. Just having a tough time out here at Dover. But we got Brian Boyd, who's now going to get that point. He's going to lead a lap, so that could move some things around in the point standings. As we know, as we say it all the time, what's my little mantra? Yeah, it's easy to It's easy to give points away and harder to gain them.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. And I think Brian Boyd has shown already tonight that he is a car. He's probably going to lead more than one
yeah,
lap
Boyd is
tonight. I'm
definitely
sure.
showing. Yeah, and he is like I said, he's been marching his way to the front. He knows how to stay up front with these leaders, so it's not like they're intimidating anymore to him.
Yeah,
No.
and he's as hungry as the other guys. He's one of the fastest cars out there that has yet to pick up a win this.
The top five are all hungry, six even. The top six are right there, and they're all hungry for a win. Devin Zimmerman, who, believe it or not, um, is one of the series champions, does not have a win this season. And it's amazing going into this. This would be one of his tracks. This is where he asserted his dominance last season. He's
Yeah.
up there again, but he's still got, I mean, there's some tough competition out there. These guys are getting tougher and tougher season after season. And the more these guys race, Ethan Thompson, and now you got Brian Boyd up there. Chuck McDonald is not so timid anymore. He's up there racing as well. So
Yeah.
you got a lot of stiff competition, and Devin Zimmerman is starting to feel the heat. He's really going to have to earn it. Whoever becomes champion this season is definitely going to earn it. That's for sure. It's not going to be given to him like it has in the past.
Yeah, Chuck McDonald, we saw a couple times early on, kind of giving the bumper. I believe it was to Andrew Spears, who was involved in that last incident. So Chuck's got some speed, and he's not afraid to let people know he's behind him.
Yeah, and Chuck is, like I said, he's gotten that he's got that fight, he's got that fire in his belly now, and he has a win. He knows how to get it done. So once you start getting those wins, he has a couple wins in TDR under his belt, and he's taken on some tough competition and beat them. So, you know, once you get that fire and you get that confidence, and this is one of the tracks that he won at, that you boost your confidence even more. So you know what you're doing, and you have a little more oomph on that wheel, a little more relaxation behind the wheel, and I think that has a lot to do with it too. The more you're relaxed driving, the better off of a driver you are at that track because you feel more confident.
Looks like the lights are off on the pace car, and this is going to be a restart to watch between Brian Boyd and Devin Zimmerman. Ethan Thompson right behind to pounce if anything happens to those two guys up front. The next couple laps are going to be they're going to be interesting.
I think the lights are still on. We
Oh,
still
they are
have
still on.
one to go, so we got one more lap to go here. But yeah, Brian Boyd has worked his way to the front. Um, like I said, he's been quick. He qualified sixth, sitting in P1 right now. Devin Zimmerman, Ethan Thompson, Robert McDonald, Robert Cochran, Chuck McDonald, Robin Pardon, Andrew Spears, Jason Hall, Paul Bilson, and Ryan Elmore. So I think Paul Bilson might have had too much required, or he just didn't want to feel that he was, you know, couldn't get a handle on it. So both Paul Bilson and Ryan Elmore are off the track. That leaves 9 drivers on track. The only driver that has 2 laps to make up, but if it keeps going like this, he'll get them back, is Jason Hall. So
and Jason Hall's already made up a couple. We were showing him, I believe, 4 laps
or
down after that first yellow.
that's correct, and it's not over. We've seen you know, Paul Bilson wasn't the only one that got sideways throughout this whole thing. We have seen a couple of guys get sideways. Chuck's been putting the bumper to people. So you know, they're not giving up, that's for sure. And you know, like I said, that I think the top 10 do get points. So you know, now it's just a matter of how many points can you gain, and there's a lot of points to be won or lost out there, especially with 8. I mean, that can flip flop at any given moment, and all these guys are fast. So it's going to be a fun race from here to the end, especially watching Ethan Thompson, Devin Zimmerman. I love to see Brian Boyd, see what he's going to do, see what his strategy he's going to play. I know he likes to be aggressive early, but is it going to bite him in the end? And watch Devin Zimmerman, we know can hold it. Ethan Thompson is another one that we know can be easy on the equipment, led early, looking in 3rd spot. I mean, came from last to 3rd. So here we go. Green flag is in the air. Brian Boyd is going to take another big jump. That inside line seems to get a huge jump every time coming down there.
Mm-hmm.
This is going to gain about 3 or 4 car lanes going into turn number 1. But there's Ethan Thompson back up to 2nd spot. He is not being denied, and he must like that clean air because he is chasing really hard after Brian Boyd. And those two are Mission 22 drivers. So if you look at those two, even Drone Works, well, I'm sorry, that was Devin Zimmerman is Mission 22 driver, but Ethan Thompson in that top Drone Works Chevrolet is right there knocking on the door on that Toyota, and he's just not letting him get away. So Brian now is going to hold on to a 2 car length lead. Ethan is slowly closing. He's going to try and look underneath. Not going to have any of it. Brian's going to block that bottom side. There's Devin Zimmerman just watching on, waiting to see who's going to make that move, who's going to use up the equipment so he can be right there. And in our 3rd spot right now, our 4th spot is Robert McDonald, And Robert Cochran now up in 5th. Andrew Spears 6th. Chuck McDonald 7th. And Robin Parton in 8th are really just hanging in there. They're watching it. Oh, as we see somebody, that's Robin Parton, taps the outside wall, keeps it collected, but he just tapped that outside wall. Once again, the monster just comes up and bites him as he just hits that outside wall, puts a little bit of smoke in the air, but there's Chuck McDonald chasing down Andrew Spears, so I'm sure it took his quick repair. So they got to be a little bit more careful, as I'm sure most of this field has already taken their quick repair. But now something must have happened, because look at that lead that Brian Boyd has on Ethan Thompson. And I'm wondering if Ethan and Devin are just hanging back, letting Brian run his equipment out before chasing them down. They're like, all right, you can take it out and you can go a little bit. Yeah, so we're going to go 3 wide. Oh, thought the better out. Ooh, Spears just gets a little hot going in. Going to take that right on up. Hold that move. You did collect it. Say there's a, you can look 3 wide, but I wouldn't recommend going 3 wide, as we saw. It gathers up in a hurry coming through that turn.
Oh, yeah.
Nice side-by-side battle here right now for 5th and 6th, 7th right there. Chuck McDonald, he's really not pressing the issue. Now he's going to dive down, go underneath Spears. Spears goes up the track. That's going to leave that bottom line open. Not enough to get him. He's going to fall back up. But look at that lead that Brian Boyd has gathered over the field. Over 1 second. I'm not sure.
Way out
Like
there.
I said, I have seen some strategy calls from these guys. Oh, as we got Ethan goes around on the front stretch.
See what
Oh,
happened there.
man. So he came right on out. He got collected right there from Devin Zimmerman. Got a little bit loose. Oh, no, it was Robert.
Yeah, it looks like the 010 there got into the
Yeah,
wall,
Robert
slapped the wall, and
McDonald
kind of
just
came down a little bit.
came off of that wall. Same thing that we saw earlier in the run with Ilson, and just come down and just one car. So yellow is on the field, so they're going to get these things collected back up. But Ethan Thompson already suffered a speeding penalty. I hope he did not take his quick repair. Hopefully he can get his quick repair done. But yeah, we're back under caution lap 35. As like I said, yeah, I mean, it's one of those races, man. It's going to be, Miles is definitely collecting some cars today. This is definitely a track that is earning its title.
Yeah, suspension looks okay. A little bit of body damage there. More than a little bit of body damage. That might be one he might want to put a hammer to.
Yeah, and I believe he still has his quick repair. So if that's the case, he'll be able to go back in, as he's going to come back around, not lose a lap.
A little wrinkled on the left front, too.
Yeah, he took a hard shot on that inside. You can just tell that's it. And that's going to hurt the engine. That's not one thing that you don't want to do. That actually happened to me here during the first race of the last Gas and Go series. I did tap the inside wall. I thought I could continue on with it. Took a little bit of repair and ended up blowing the car up. Just overheating and blowing it up. So that's one thing that you've got to get repaired here, or you do come in danger of that. And I know that personally. I can attest to that, as that put me at the championship, Gas Go Championships last year. But as we're coming down now, 37 of 125. We got Brian Boyd, Robert McDonald, Andrew Spears, Devin Zimmerman, Chuck McDonald, Robert Cochran. That's going to put Jason Hall with only 1 lap down now. So he has a chance to be the lucky dog again and get his lap back. So 9th spot, still got a shot to get back in this thing if he can just keep his nose clean there. He had a little bit of trouble in the beginning. And talk about wrestling your way through the field. And I'm going to use that because it's got the WWE wrestle thing on there.
So I was just trying to think of how to tie in a wrestling pun, but I couldn't do it. You did it for me, and that's why you're my favorite co-host.
Oh, thank you, and so are you. You're my favorite co-host as well. But no, yes, he's going to wrestle his way back up through the field, get 1 more lap back, and overtake these fields. Maybe body slam them into getting 1 more caution out the way, and we'll go back to racing here as with about 39 to go. Brian Boyd looks like he's going to come down for his pit stop. And they were just in on lap 19, so you're talking about 20 laps in between, almost 20 laps.
I see a lot of numbers blanking out on my scoreboard, which means there are going to be quite a few guys pulling onto pit road here. Yeah,
just about everybody pitted but Robert McDonald right now.
That was Robin Parton leaving to repair the damage, I presume from the earlier incident that he had. He pitted about a lapper. You can see a whole parade of cars coming down here.
Yeah, so that's going to leave Robert Cochran as the only car that did not pit on that entire sequence.
That looks correct.
And he's the one that got off of that outside wall and tapped the guy that's right there running behind him now with Ethan Thompson. And like I said, this is one of those tracks where it'll bite you in the eyes. We've seen quite a few cars tonight, quite a few cautions, more than normal. What are we working? Our fourth or fifth
60,
caution of the evening.
yeah, 68 of Andrew Spears. Looks like he squeaked out just ahead of Brian Boyd. Might have been fuel only, or maybe only took left sides or right sides. I mean.
Maybe a two-tire stop. I really am. If you look at it, that's where all your pressure is at because of that banking. All that weight is going right to that right side. So your left sides, you're just kind of guiding it, whereas the right sides are taking all of that pressure. And it would be that back right tire is the one that's going to really take all of the weight because you're going through the turns, you're having high speed, and as you come off of it, that back right tire is what's going to be your worst tire here.
Oh yeah, for sure. That's the only one you really use, right?
That's about the only one that you really is. It's almost kind of, it's just a step above, racing on
It does.
dirt where you put all your.
Yeah, I was gonna say it does half the steering and all the pushing.
That's true. So yeah, just kind of gliding it in there and kind of like the bicycle. Remember the old bicycle where you spin it and then you would turn it and you could turn yourself? Kind of the same thing. You turn that wheel, it pushes that out, that right rear tire catches, pushes you around, catches it down, slows it down, puts it on the track. But
Well, gotta be an interesting shakeup here for another restart with another guy who gets a point under caution.
Yeah, I mean, right now it's going to be a push for points, I think. Nobody's going to get an advantage as far as leading a lap. I think just about half the field has led a lap here right now, as we saw Ethan Thompson lead the first, 19 laps before having trouble.
Yeah, and there's going to be stage points handed out too at a quarter way and halfway through, so those are going to factor in as well.
And I believe we are at stage 1 now, isn't it? 125 if they're going a quarter of the way through. We're at lap 30, so that should be it. So we got pace car coming off now, and here we got another situation where we got a guy on older tires, the rest of the field is on fresh tires. And in the Geico restart zone, and they're off, and you got Robert McDonald's going to get a jump. Didn't get as big of a jump as the rest of the guys did, but he gets a nice of a jump, but that's going to push those cars 2x2 going through turns 1 and 2. Coming out of turn 1 and 2, Ethan Thompson's going to take that outside lane, use that momentum with Brian Boyd, who's been hungry. Oh, looked to take it 3 wide, thought better of it, jump back to the outside. Ooh, man, that was close coming off there with Robert McDonald coming in. Ooh, it's going to push Andrew Spears into, yeah, he pushed, and it wasn't, he didn't physically push him, but he kind of got up there, and Andrew Spears just followed him up and just tapped that outside wall. Going to slow his momentum down, but Brian Boyd back to the front, drove his way back to the front. Man, so that's a good little drive to come back there. I think showing Ethan that, hey, you may want it, but you're going to have to fight for it tonight. And I think he's hungry just about as more than anybody in that field right now. Yeah. Other than Chuck McDonald looking for win number 2 on the season and Devin Zimmerman looking for number 1. Brian Boyd is definitely a driver to watch tonight as he is showing some speed and definitely not fearing these guys and not fearing the monster at the present moment. He's got a good little lead going into turn number 3.
Absolutely. When that green flag dropped and Ethan Thompson took off, I was thinking, oh, it's nice to have a fast car behind you to kind of push you through that a little bit. And sure enough, Brian Boyd went right around and back to that lead, and now he's trying to get to another zip code.
Yeah, and he's not afraid to do anything. As we see now, Chuck is going to take that outside lane, and that's, I don't know, that may be something to watch. Is that outside lane a little bit quicker? I mean, because
it seems to me like the inside is the preferred line for comfort, getting into that rhythm of a mile-long track and running lap after lap and being consistent. But the outside seems to be where they can carry that momentum and actually execute all the passing.
And I think you see that start to come to fruition here is Andrew Spears, who just got around Ethan Thompson as well on the outside through turns 1 and 2. So that outside, middle to, maybe not outside, but more like up a lane or 2, middle of the track seems to be that momentum right now, because you are able to go up a little bit, push it down the track, get a little bit more of a momentum going down, a little bit more speed heading down up in the straights here.
As we watch Devin Zimmerman, a fast car on the inside, the 64 on the outside, both of them looking to go around Ethan. I wonder if Ethan might be a little underpowered.
Either that or Ethan is just trying to stay out of trouble right now. Realizes it's way too early. We're not even halfway through this race right now. He's already used his quick repair. Any more damage, any more things that's going to shake out is going to be a detriment to his race. So maybe kind of play it easy, let these guys get rough up, tumble up front, let them
That's short
overdrive the
track
car.
racing for sure.
Let them overdrive the cars. Him and Zimmerman now are just sitting back there, and we know Zimmerman has won. I think he's on a roll here at Dover in the Vets and First Responders League with 2 or 3 wins in a row here. So it's going to be interesting to see how this is going to play out towards the very end. But right now, Brian Boyd, he's going to get as much as he can, lead as many laps as he can, and he's got a good run tonight.
Well, he's only 2/10 ahead of Chuck McDonald right now, and we see that gap closing pretty rapidly. I was going to point out Robert Cochran real quick, sitting back here. We had him scored as high as 4th, and he seems to be hanging out with Devin and Ethan, maybe on purpose, as Chuck McDonald here is getting pretty close with a little bit of help from Spears behind.
Actually, Chuck McDonald takes the lead coming off. Turn him over. He's got somebody slamming on the inside wall.
That was Jason Hall.
And Jason Hall gets that. Ooh, did he take one heck of a lick? And I think that may end his night because that was one heck of a.
Yeah. That's going to be a
you
single
can see
car.
Damage. Yeah, you can
won't
see
draw the
damage.
yellow flag, and he's definitely going to have to go in, and he was involved in, I believe, that first incident of the night. Probably used that quick repair. This is probably going to be the...
Well, I don't know. He sat on because that's how he went 4 laps down, so he may have saved that quick repair. We shall see after this. So I have to stay with him just for a few little...
Stay with him as the guys come by. We'll see how quick he gets on and off pit road, because if he's able to get back out there only 2 laps down again, you know, he has the opportunity to get those laps back and maybe be back in contention. He's had a fast car.
Absolutely, and that was one heck of a lick to take down that backstretch, and he really lucky that he didn't collect anybody. As we're lap 50 right now. Chuck McDonald is leading the field. I'm just going to go through as we're waiting for Jason Hall to come down and get his pit, see if he's got that. But Chuck McDonald is leading and is gaining.
There he goes.
Some time.
Yeah, looks like
he's got his quick repair because
how about that
service. So what a strategy it was to go, but man, to work his way up to 1 lap down and then fall back.
Well, I apologize for missing the pass for the lead, but there was some excitement going on back there. I hope Jason Hall is able to get out there and get some laps back, because what a strategy, saving that fast repair, and he wound up needing it a little later than that first incident.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's just one of those things where you just got to keep it, keep your nose to the grindstone. You probably knew it was coming out there during practice, and wow.
How about Chuck?
Chuck has drove his way to the front. He didn't just inherit it. He literally drove around Brian Boyd, who had a nice lead going early, and I believe that's where Ethan Thompson and Devin Zimmerman are like, you boys have at it. We'll catch up to you later.
Yeah, zoom out here a little bit. There's the gap between first and second, and if we go back to Boyd, the gap's
now, does Boyd have any damage on his car? Did something happen to Boyd where he fell back? Because he was really running up there. I don't see any, unless he decided to just maybe take it a little bit easy, maybe realized he was running a little bit too hard and did back off to try and save some of the equipment.
Or Chuck McDonald might just be that fast. I mean, Chuck came up there in a hurry. I don't think Brian Boyd was letting up that early on in the run as Chuck was closing the gap, and now we see Chuck pretty handily walking away. Just now they've seemed to equalize and kind of maintain the 1.2-second gap. Back to
I don't see any, I do not see any damage at all as we see Brian Boyd go by. Yeah, he's okay. He's just, like I said, Chuck is just on a tear right now. And this is where he got his first win, and this is where he feels comfortable in driving out to a nice, comfortable 1.5-second lead. Probably the biggest lead we've seen all day.
Oh, easily. See Devin Zimmerman looking inside of Spears here. Ethan Thompson trying to go along for the ride. And these are two guys we just talked about hanging out towards the back, kind of letting everybody settle down, and now here they come marching forward.
Yeah, and that's what they're doing. They're marching their way back towards the front here, now up in 3rd and 4th spot. Brian Boyd is the only one ahead of them, but they're about 1.5 seconds. There's who are just hanging out. 2 past champions here, actually. There's your last 3 series champions here.
Yeah,
in between the one shot.
3rd and 4th, and closing the gap. I wouldn't say quickly. Brian Boyd's losing a little bit to Chuck as Devin's gaining a little bit on Boyd lap after lap.
Yeah, right now they're about a straightaway to get to Chuck from his car, and he's about a half a straightaway in front of Boyd. So will Chuck, I don't know. Chuck has been, like I said, he's been hungry. He's been winning on a winning streak up towards the front. I mean, he's been hanging out in top 5 in most of the races that are running TDR, and just been hanging out there. And now he's just showing some dominance. I At lap 58, he's going to get his point for leading a lap. And not under caution. He's going to do that under green, and then he's going to get quite a few laps on him here. But we do see that gap starting to shrink a little bit in between Boyd and Zimmerman every lap, and that Boyd is now looks like he may be catching. But then they did
Yeah.
have a half a straightaway, and it's just under that. So
I think
he's
Chuck may have had a bit of a bobble there. Brian Boyd caught up about half a second that lap, and I think that rate of gain was artificial.
as we see him, we're definitely closing the gap now. As we've seen him just out of shot, now they are in shot, so he's back down to about 5 car lengths, and then it's just about 8 to 10 back to Devin Zimmerman, just under a second and a half. So I mean, it's a good little race here, but Chuck might have overdrove it, all his equipment trying to get out to that lead, as we see Brian Boyd now back up to the back bumper on lap 61, almost coming up on halfway. It's right to that
there.
back bumper. Yeah, he is just going to try it right on that outside. Seemed to be the higher lane, but I'm not sure if maybe the higher lane is using up more. Oh, as we see Chuck really get, I'm not sure if that's tight or loose that would push him up the track, but he really went up the track on that one. Looked like it might have been a little bit of a tightness. I didn't see that back end get around. I see more of the front end like plowing towards that outside.
Yeah, I think he might have burned the front tires off of the.
Ooh, there goes
Thompson
Devin Zimmerman
into
Ethan Thompson.
Ethan
gets
got
around.
lucky too, because Devin
Caution
came
comes
down
out.
the track and did touch the back of that car a second time. There were 2 points of contact there. The initial one between Ethan and Devin, and that second point of contact where Devin came back down and touched Ethan.
Oh man,
Ooh.
that was Ethan just had a run, and I don't know if can we get an in car maybe of that shot going from Ethan, because man, that was an in.
Queued up, get it set back. Dial up Ethan Thompson. Direct hit play.
Here they are coming up. Oh,
Chuck contact between Chuck and Devin. Devin came down the track, touched Ethan.
And
Ethan got very lucky there. Very lucky.
Yeah, there's going to be a little bit of damage, but it's not going to be that much. He did tap that. I think he did tap that inside right there. He did tap that inside safety barrier.
Back that up again and take a look from Chuck's view.
Yeah, so Devin came. Oh, yeah. I mean, Devin came up. Chuck didn't move.
Yeah, it looks like Devin came up and actually instigated contact
Devin
there.
looked like he got a little bit loose, and then Chuck was just right there. He had nowhere to go, and did collect Chuck. But it doesn't look like there's going to be too much damage on all these cars. If anything, it'll probably be a few seconds. We're the official halfway mark under yellow here. Makes this the official first TDR race that has gone with this many cautions. I am not sure what the exact amount of cautions we've had. It's been a handful, and it's a lot more than we're used to seeing in these races here, especially with the vets and first responders on a, quote unquote low amount of race cars out on the field. But man, they are racing. They're not letting it get away, and nobody's really driving away from it. As we've seen Chuck McDonald get a huge lead, we've seen Thompson get a huge lead, we've seen Brian Boyd get a huge lead, and it's all come back. And I mean, these guys are really getting into it. Halfway, I'm not sure if they can make it halfway on fuel, but we'll be able to find out here. And the way it's going, I think we may have a couple of cautions left by the time it's all said and done, as we've seen a lot of not uncharacteristic yellows from a lot of the top drivers here at TDR.
Yeah, and I was just going to say, as through that cycle of pit stops, Ethan Thompson actually paused in his pit stall to let everybody go by, as electing to basically start from the back of the field, because I think he suspects maybe there might be another yellow flag in the future as well.
Yeah, I mean, that's one heck of a race season that's going on. YouTube's been pretty quiet out there, and Jim actually calmed in and said, come on, Brian, you got to keep focused. Don't let miles of monsters eat you up. And I mean, yeah, you have to stay focused. You have to stay rhythm. Andy, how are you, buddy? Welcome to sunny Florida. I know that's where you're at, and have fun, everyone. Hope you're enjoying the race tonight. We do miss you out there, buddy, but I hope you'll enjoy this the sunshine that the Sunshine State has to offer. Just stay where you're at. Do not come any further south. It is ugly down here still. So
Yeah, you guys have quite a bit of
unless you need
cleaning up to
firewood,
do.
if anybody needs firewood, they're more than welcome to come on down to Fort Myers, Florida. There is lined up all over the streets everywhere. We got everything from hickory to oak to whatever you want. We've got some banyan, we've got some palm. Come on
Or
down, pick up your free firewood for the remainder of the Florida season. So
or a free boat. All you have to do is go down there and remove it from a 2-story house.
yeah, that's right. There's one that's actually, it's funny because I was just telling the story, I think last week, maybe the other, I'm not sure if I told it in here, but as we're heading down one of our main roads here to Fort Myers, where I live, there's a boat that's inland and it's sitting backwards and it's just sitting there from where it's parked on the river and they can't get to it.
Yeah.
So it's really weird to see, the boat just parked off a trailer in the middle of nowhere, just sitting there. It's kind of funny, but it's not. It's kind of sad because it's somebody's, live. It could be somebody's vacation, whatever. But it's just funny to see a boat just sitting there with no water, waiting for the next one to come in and pick it up and take it back out.
Yeah, hurricanes are they're definitely no joke, but they do provide for some humorous photographs after everything gets cleaned up.
Oh yeah,
I've certainly seen
absolutely.
some boats in some weird places.
But there is a lot of cleanup to do, so everybody that's out there, please keep, we got a lot of cleanup to do, but we're on the recovery phase, so it's getting better. We are starting to see a lot of more of our first responders from all over the country starting to leave the area, which is a good sign, and they can get back to their normal lives, and we can resume down here what we need to, but there is still a lot of cleanup. It's probably going to be another 3 or 4 months before that gets all taken care of. As the pace car jumps down on the pit road as we get ready to go racing, you're just past halfway. Ryan Boyd looks like he's ready to pounce on that lead right now. Chuck McDonald's right behind him, and there goes Brian Boyd, taking back 60 laps to go. Devin Zimmerman on the outside. These guys are going to play nice going into that turn number 1, not like we've seen in the past. So Brian Boyd is going to take that out. Hopefully he learned his lesson that he can't really run too hard his first few laps. He's going to burn off his equipment, because now you got a gentleman right there, Devin Zimmerman, who knows how to save his equipment right behind him. And that was Achilles' heel. Also at another track that we went to where Brian Boyd jumped out front, used his equipment early, and Devin Zimmerman was right there to teach him a lesson on how to save your stuff. So hopefully Brian's out there listening, and just take it easy, buddy. You still got 58 laps to go. Don't let these guys get away too much, and you don't want to pressure it too early. But Chuck McDonald is right there, hungry again, right on the back door. And Andrew Spears, look at that, running in the 4th position, had a bunch of atrocities early. But man, he is right there. He isn't letting Chuck McDonald get away either. So it's going to be a fun little race to the end. Is it going to dive down underneath? Nope. How's that run? Chuck's liking that middle to outside lane, though, on an early run.
Yeah, that seems to be where it is. The momentum and the speed they're carrying through that middle to outside tends to be the fastest way around the corner. You see Andrew Spears looking inside, and I think mostly just to keep some fresh air on the nose of that car and keep it planted. I don't think Chuck McDonald would give him the outside if the opportunity presented itself.
Well, now we're going to see this, is now Andrew Spears is going to check that outside, going to try and follow Chuck in there, maybe get a run, see what he's seeing on the outside. Is it any faster? Can he save any tires? There's a nice little gap back to 2.5 seconds, back to Robert McDonald, but they did catch back up, as now you see Andrew Spears get underneath, take over that 3rd spot. So Andrew Spears is now back up in the 3rd spot, as Jason Hall has officially fallen out, as his troubles have come to an end. Here at Dover, Miles bit another one, so now that's officially 4 out of the race. Robin Pardon now also, so Miles has taken 4 of our drivers out, with Robin Pardon, Jason Hall, Paul Bilson, and Ryan Elmore. Now all that's left are all on the lead lap, the top 7. Robert Cochran out there in 7th, Ethan Thompson 6th, Robert McDonald 5th, Chuck McDonald 4th, Andrew Spears and Devin Zimmerman, as we see this battle for 2nd and 3rd. And then Brian Boyd has a nice run on that outside, but we've seen him get away early, and then the field slowly comes back to him, as we saw probably with about 20 laps into that run. So
right here, Andrew Spears gets a great run on corner exit out of 4. I think everyone here kind of struggles with 2 a little bit. It's hard to keep the car planted with the way that bump at the exit of 2 kind of throws the car up and lifts the tires off the ground a little bit. But Andrew Spears has been getting tremendous speed on the exit of 4. You'll see it.
Look at Robert McDonald come back up. Now Robert McDonald was 2.5 seconds
outside line.
And he has got a lot of momentum on that outside line, and he's going to drive it up to second position around Devin Zimmerman. What a
Two
run
for
from
one.
him.
2 for 1.
So it's good to see another name up there, Robert McDonald up there. He's now going to chase down Brian Boyd, but yet again, got to save that equipment towards the end. You can't all get it in the end. I believe he's another California driver, so the other one is Luke Desjardins did not show up tonight. Is I think our third California or Canadian driver
I was
out
saying, you
there.
said
So
California. I think you meant Canadian.
I see CA and I always want to say California, so that's just that's the American in me. But no, it is a Canadian driver. So Chuck McDonald and Robert McDonald, the McDonald brothers, which aren't brothers but not related, are now our Canadian drivers out there running second and fifth. But we've seen them both look like we're going to have a double McDonald take a lead. So old
Yeah.
McDonald had a farm. Which one's going to take the lead on this next few laps as we see Brian Boyd slowly falling back?
Yeah, looks like
And
Robert McDonald's really making that middle to high side work, just like we saw Chuck doing earlier. I wonder if they may have been practicing together and communicated that, because the momentum they're carrying out there seems to outdo anything that Brian Boyd's trying to get done on the inside line.
Brian Boyd seemed to be a lot smoother. If you notice on that last couple of turns, when he turns down, he's getting that car a little bit loose on Robert McDonald. So he may be burning up that right rear. That could be detrimental as we see Andrew Spears now up in the third position chasing him down. Devin Zimmerman fell back to fourth, just kind of watching him, but he's also falling back to 2.5 seconds with Chuck McDonald. Ethan Thompson is now 3 seconds behind. I'm not sure if they may be even playing a fuel strategy game, maybe trying to get to the very end, falling back, saving their fuel. So that's going to be something to watch here as the closing laps pull in with 48 to go. Tommy, I'm telling you what, we are having such a great run tonight. I think maybe we should go through the field. What do you think?
Absolutely. Let's get it done.
As Brian Boyd leads the way here. He's led a few laps tonight, leading the field, showing what he's got out there in the Breast Cancer Mission 22 card, Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and definitely going to be one to watch towards closing laps. Does he have enough to get to the end? We'll find out. Robert McDonald in that second spot, as we just mentioned, and the Canadian drivers, we see Andrew Spears right on that back bumper. He's going to try looking underneath. But what a drive he has had. He's been pretty quiet all night, but now starting to show some speed on that outside lane. Might have found something just following Chuck, and there's Andrew Spears, who had a nice drive, who you've seen him get early. I believe he finished third last week, so he's got another one with momentum. He's been quick every week since he started coming out. Now in the second position. So it's going to be seen. He's going to chase down Brian Boyd. I'm sorry, as there's Devin Zimmerman now in the fourth position. Falling back, like I said, this may be a strategy call by these guys back here, just trying to save a little bit of fuel. They may think they may have enough to the end. Trying to get a little bit out of it, but don't count this guy out no matter where we are, and especially here at Dover.
They know better than I do.
All right, and then back in that fifth position is Chuck McDonald. Led early, had a good run, and now, like I said, he's back there hanging out, and he knows where it's at. If there's going to be a top three, this may be your top three at the end if they're conserving fuel. Behind him is Ethan Thompson. Ethan's had a busy night tonight, led a few laps, led the first part of this race, had a little bit of trouble, took his quick repair, is now running back in the sixth position. They're kind of just minding their P's and Q's, letting those guys use up their equipment. And then there's old Robert Cochran, who, I mean, he's out there. He's seventh, last car on the track that's still running. And hey, he's right there. He is not letting these guys get away. So you never know what can happen at the end of this race. It's been an exciting race so far. 43 to go, back up front. Brian Boyd, as we got Andrew Spears now chasing him down to just under 0.3 of a second. But Robert McDonald, who was up challenging earlier, got to the back bumper.
If you'll pardon me for just one moment there, Jay, I have to run to the hot dog cart. Be right back.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, as we see, we're watching that battle back here for Chuck McDonald, Ethan Thompson, and Devin Zimmerman right there. I mean, they're just hanging out, just catching a few laps. Robert Cochran hanging on to it. But as you can see in the front of that pack, Brian Boyd, Andrew Spears are not letting anything get away, as they're now within tenths. It's been one heck of a race so far. What do you think, guys, out there? And David May writes in, yes, it has. And also save tires. Yes, you got to save tires out there. And Jim puts in really great racing tonight, so it has been really great racing. As we see Ethan Thompson now going to try and take that inside line away from Chuck McDonald. Doesn't quite get it done, but Chuck is liking that outside line as they fall back in line. We got 40 to go. Laps are clicking off now. Things have pretty much settled down, I believe. We may have one more pit stop. We're going to have to see as this race goes on. Chuck gets that run to the bottom. Is he going to go try and down underneath Devin Zimmerman? Going to get that run. Try and take that position away on the bottom side. Forces Devin Zimmerman up. Here comes Ethan Thompson, which is going to take advantage of that. That's a battle for 4th, 5th now. And 6th. Devin shuts the door on Ethan. 39 to go. 38 at the line. It is just Brian Boyd still up front. Andrew Spears, those two kind of just riding around right now, clicking off laps. 39 to go. Ain't no sense in getting too racy. Everybody's pretty much used all their quick repairs. So Brian definitely showing some speed, but Andrew Spears is right there. But here we come up on Chuck McDonald, who catches Robert McDonald, who was up there battling early, now falls back. Just use up that equipment, I think, and he's having a tough time holding on to it. And there's where you see the experience come in from Chuck McDonald. Ooh, hold on to the outside of it there, Robert McDonald takes a little bit high, taps that outside. Ooh, going to tap it again. Man, that was close coming off of there as Robert Cochran had to dive down underneath. I'm up 37 to go this time by as we've got Andrew Spears is definitely looking underneath. He's hunting down for that top spot. They've been just hanging out there. Brian will take the high side through turning 1 and 2 one lap and then dive it down low side here in 1 and 2. So he's kind of playing with the line, seeing which is faster to try and keep Spears behind him and also cut off that. But you don't want to do that too much because as we've seen, miles will come out and bite you at any given moment. As now we see Andrew Spears now get up on that inside lane. We've seen this twice before. And now he's going to take it. So Andrew Spears is now the new leader. Drove his way back up to the front as Brian Boyd now goes 35 laps to go. Andrew Spears drives his way back up to the front. So here we go. Races on, guys. It's been an excellent race.
I appreciate you flying solo. Sometimes you just have to get a chili dog.
What's that?
I said sometimes you just have to get a chili dog. It was a...
Well, yeah, especially when they're 2 for 1 right now coming down and they got to get rid of them. So I got you there.
The urge was overwhelming. Oh.
Oh, Chuck McDonald got high on that last lap. I'm not sure if he tapped that outside wall, but that's going to allow Devin Zimmerman, Ethan Thompson there. Oh, Robert Cochran's just going to take that upside, and Chuck's going to fall back now to 6th position. And Robert McDonald, who was up there, had a good early lap running up near the front, is now faded back to about 4 seconds behind. But he did tap the wall, so he may have some damage there, and these guys are just riding through it. But Andrew Spears, what a run. Great way to come back and catch that on the camera work there for the top spot there. But this is a race to watch here. Is now Devin Zimmerman is now catching up to Brian Boyd, and you got Ethan Thompson right there. And now Robert Cochran, look at that, all the way up in the 5th position. So that what a race that's going for Robert Cochran now. Yeah, just hanging in there.
We have scored that 90 as high as P4, so this isn't his first venture up into the top 5.
No, and it's good to see him up there. Like I said, he's just running steady, running laps, knocking laps off. He's not really keeping it out of trouble. And, you know, there he is, got a top 5. I mean, so with stage points tonight, as we just passed stage 2, going into the final stages here, as we got 30 to go. Ethan Thompson gets loose, taps that outside wall. That's going to allow Robert Cochran up underneath again. Who was he loose coming down? You can just... He's got, almost like he's got tire issue. Did it not look like that tire was...
It looked like that loose condition kind of followed him through for 2 corners there. And even now, he doesn't look as stable as we would expect that car to see.
No, he kind of looks a little uncomfortable out there. It looks uncomfortable out there. It's definitely loose. You can just see him fighting that wheel.
You see Chuck McDonald behind him, just not quite willing to get next to him yet.
No, and I can't really blame Chuck. I'd kind of be watching this as well because this could end ugly. If you try to get to the outside, you have that risk of him getting loose and taking you with him. If you get to the inside, you have that the risk of him coming down, trying to collect it, and also collecting. As we've seen, and there it is again. I mean, that loose was really...
Stepping out every now and then, you wonder if maybe that brush with the wall didn't do something to the camber or caster of the tires, possibly. Yeah, he's coming to pit road now. He's losing too much. We'll let
Yeah, once
him
again, like,
go get his car fixed up as we, Devin Zimmerman has now made it to Brian Boyd.
so now Devin Zimmerman is now running, chase down Brian Boyd, who had a nice lead early, and then, like I said, Andrew Spears, yeah, he fought off the early run from Robert McDonald, who also hit the pit or hit the wall a couple of times, as we've seen on a
There's
couple of shots. He's
Chuck
down on
McDonald
pit
on
road.
pit road as well.
Yeah, Chuck's on pit road. There's ooh, Andrew Spears is gonna just take that lineup. I'm not sure if that was a block move on Brian, but that was a risky move to be taking there to block that run, that especially in the turn right there. So I'm not sure if he just moved up out of that, tried to take that run away. But Brian Boyd now goes back underneath out of turn 4, is going to resume the lead on lap with 26 to go. So we're just 99, lap 99.
I don't think Andrew Spears is done yet, as we see Ethan Thompson now merging back onto the track. Should be showing him 2 laps down.
Yeah, Robert McDonald is 2 laps down. Ethan Thompson's 2 laps down. Chuck McDonald's still showing in the pits right now.
Andrew Spears back to the front, and I think after that last cycle, the handful of cars that came down, I'm wondering if a few more guys might not need to.
Well, that's definitely going to take the fuel strategy out for Ethan Thompson. So now if he was saving fuel, he's not going to have to save that anymore. He's going to have to drive back, because now he's 1 lap down. He's going to get it back the hard way. He's going to have to drive all the way around again twice.
And you see that difference in tires, too. As I zoom out here a little bit, Ethan Thompson handily drove past 3 cars and is walking away on those fresh video.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you're talking a 25.56, and he's probably pushed about a 23s on his lap time. So, yeah, the 23.6. So he's really moving around out there. Definitely has more speed. As you see Devin Zimmerman now trying to he drove it really down. I thought he had a run, but looked like
I think he might have checked up and unsettled the car a little bit and did everything he could to kind of get it back under control and get back behind that 78.
Brian Boyd, I mean, he's having a good run, top 2, chasing down Spears, looking for the win. There's still 23 to go. A lot of racing left here, and nobody's really running. Oh, as Andrew Spears hits the bottom, goes down to the bottom. So there's our leader now has a lot of damage on that left-hand side. Brian Boyd as well.
Oh, lock on the brakes here. Missed pit road.
Oh, he's going to miss pit road, so that's going to hurt.
The brakes locked up on Andrew Spears as well.
Oh, man, that's going to definitely hurt. Now, did Devin Zimmerman hold on enough fuel in it, or is he going to have to come around and get a,
Well, that puts Robert Cochran here.
Robert Cochran is now sitting in 2nd position. So Brian Boyd, yes, I'm not sure. Wow. That's that pit road strategy that just, oh, man. It's tough to get down there, especially when you're coming up to speed. I'm not sure why he would have went with Andrew, unless he thought well, I would assume you were right behind him. I don't see him hit the inside wall.
Well, I think as many green flag laps as we turned here. I think everyone's kind of aching for tires. We saw Ethan Thompson kind of come down because he had to. It looked like that car was way too loose for his comfort. Chuck McDonald followed right behind, and then we saw Brian Boyd attempt to make entry. Unfortunately, missed the pits that time by. He is in the pits now. That leaves Devin Zimmerman, Robert Cochran, the only cars that have not pitted since that last cycle of pit stops.
Yeah, I mean, what a turn of events here that we have seen throughout the course of this race. I mean, leaders are just not able to maintain the lead here. I'm not sure if I'm Devin Zimmerman, if I'm comfortable leading this race, considering everything that I've seen from every leader tonight out there. Ethan had issues. Andrew had issues. Boyd has issues. I mean, everybody who's led this race has had some sort of issue tonight.
Yeah, I think
so I don't know if I'd be comfortable out there.
Devin might be a little loose, maybe looking to make a pit stop here in the next few laps. You see Robert Cochran over the last 2 laps has closed over half a second on the gap between the 2 of them.
Yeah, now who's going to be pushing it? That's the whole thing. I mean, you have the fresh tires, so you know you're going to be pushing it, trying to get those laps back your hard way, or, and you don't know really what the strategy of Zimmerman is going to be. If he could take it out to the end, he's got enough to maintain and hold on to, with only 18 to go. If he has enough fuel, I don't think I would be pitting unless I absolutely had to, because you have enough of a lead. Even if people were to get around you, they got a long way to go to get back around. And I don't think 17 laps is enough to get it done.
Yeah, see the gap has opened up a little bit to just about 1 second there with the lap traffic of Chuck McDonald separating the 2. But I mean, if these guys don't need the fuel, they could finish 1 and 2, barring any issues due to maybe needing those tires.
Right, so that's going to be a strategy call that we're just going to sit here and watch them play out. Because I mean, you got Ethan Thompson, who is 1 lap down. Robert McDonald and Andrew Spears, Chuck McDonald are all 1 lap down. Brian Boyd is now 2 laps down. So they would have to go around the leader and then get around again. And that's a tall order. Even for cars up the speed to get around here at that pace. And it's just not enough time, I don't think, to get around here. Not when you're running 25 seconds a lap. That means you'd have to be almost 3 or 4 seconds faster the entire run just to even look at the lead by the time the white flag flew.
Yeah, just following these two guys around the gap seems to be pretty consistent lap over lap, and you've got 3rd through 6th place all showing 1 lap down, so they are racing for position behind these guys. But these two have put themselves in a position, if they can hold on to those cars, they're going to get a ton of points tonight, and one of them is going to get a W.
Yeah, and like I said, I mean, this is one of those tracks that might extend the winning percentage there for Devin Zimmerman if he can hold on to it for another 14 laps. And I believe I don't think he's pushing that car all that much.
It's going to be a tall order we see. I believe that's Brian Boyd now sneaking in on the left-hand side of your screen at home, getting a lap back the hard way. And with that fresh Goodyear's 14 laps to go, he might be able to get that lap back, but it won't be the position.
No, you're able to get, and Devin's not going to fight him for that lap back because with 13 to go, I mean, you're talking 10. He's still got enough time. Even Robert Cochran there, it's going to be a tall order for them to.
Well, they're looking to get probably about 40 laps on the tires the leaders have right now, so I don't think they'd be in a position to fight anybody off, even if they wanted to.
No, it's not going to be worth it for them to fight. Like I said, he's got to get around and then get him around him again with 13 to go if you can make it. And I think even if you slow down enough, you may be able to save enough tire that by the time he gets back up to you, he's used his equipment 3 times more harder than you did. So he's going to be less of a threat the second time than the first time. As we see now, Brian Boyd getting 1 lap back, so he's going to another go lap around. 12 laps to go. Don't think he's got enough time to do it. But you never know.
It all comes down to what's going on here between Devin and Robert Cochran. I mean, if they can last, they're going to be 1 and 2. If they can't last, Brian Boyd just put himself in win a race pretty easily. Ethan Thompson, huge gap. He would be 2nd place if we sorted out Devin and Robert.
Yeah, and Ethan Thompson right now, he's in 3rd position. Andrew Spears is 4th. Robert McDonald 5th. Chuck McDonald 6th. Brian Boyd 7th. So if you're talking, and those guys are 1 lap down, if there was a caution right now, Ethan Thompson would be the only one that would be eligible to get back up there. And then you'd have 3 guys that were fighting for it, but they'd all be on fresh tires with 10 to go. Wouldn't be an advantage at that point. Andrew Spears, Robert McDonald, and Chuck McDonald are basically fighting for that lucky dog in case something should come out, and also position on track. But I think there's much of a gap there in between all 3 of them that it's not going to be an issue between them.
Yeah, as we're 10 laps to go. What is that? 200 something seconds? 5 minutes or so?
Yeah, it's about 5 minutes left.
I think they got 5 minutes in the tank.
They got 5 minutes in the tank. I'm quite sure of that, especially when they saw everybody else pit. If you were going to have an advantage or lose an advantage, that would be the one that, you could then save a little bit more, let off that gas pedal a little more. As I see, Cochran was running up there with Devin Zimmerman. He is really backed off, so he's just riding this out, trying to get as much he can, hoping he can just, coast his way across that start-finish line, and what a position that would be for P2. I mean, that's going to be a heck of a points night for Cochran. A good run. I mean, good to see one of our mainstays here having a good run tonight as well. So Devin Zimmerman now looking in good position
It's also
to finish this out and close it out with 7 laps to go.
Very early in the season, the way the season started, coming through Halloween, we had Columbus Day, going into the holidays, there's a lot of off weeks. So we're only 4 races into the season, even though the season's been active for, 2 months. So tons of points to be had early on for anyone who's looking at getting season champion.
Absolutely, and do not forget these guys are also, they do get points positions for stages. So they're not yellow stages, they are stages. The field is frozen at certain points, and then you get certain points for the top 10. So, points are on the line. So you can't just sit back and not race. Ethan Thompson did get around. He is now raced his way back, but with 6 to go, he is running a 24.5, just about a 24, 1 second with 5 laps to go, 26 seconds to get to the leader. You'd need about 20 more laps in order to get back up to him.
It's a tall order. Here's the gap between Devin and Ethan.
Right. So he's looking at the third place. So, with 5 laps to go at this point, yeah, he's not really getting away too much each lap. He would have to be at least in the turn, coming out of turn number 2 right now to have a shot.
Yeah,
With
really,
5 laps to go, it's not going to happen.
really interesting shakeout on the strategies here. Looking at Devin and Zimmerman sitting 1 and 2, the only two that haven't pitted through that last cycle. Big gamble being able to hold it off. I mean, with 4 to go, as long as they don't run out of gas or don't slip a good year off the wheel, they're going to be in pretty good shape to get some nice points.
There you see Andrew Spears just take that sliding. I mean, he dirt tracked it around Devin Zimmerman. Devin kind of backed off and let him go, but Andrew Spears is on a mission to try and catch third right now up to Ethan Thompson. That's a battle on track. So here we go, 3 laps to go, and Spears looks hungry. You can see him basically dirt tracking it going through 1 and 2. That car is getting sideways.
The car looks
Does he
pretty
have
beat
enough to
up.
hold on to? Oh, it's beat up, but why not right now, right? So I mean, it is definitely looking like a car that he is on a mission. Is Ethan Thompson, and that is for position that we are watching right now. 2 to go. Next time by will be 1 to go, and he is right there and looking for a second top 3 position here. And he's going to get it. They're going to go door to door coming out of turn number 4. Back to the line, Andrew Spears drives his way around Ethan Thompson now.
Made it look easy, too.
I don't know if you call that easy. That was some hard driving there. Ethan didn't give him too much room on the bottom, and he knew it was a little bit slippery there. But, man, I mean, that's going to be 2 weeks in a row that Andrew Spears is going to come back and gain a podium spot if he can hold on for this last time, as Devin Zimmerman is going to cross the line as our winner here. There's Devin taking the check flag, bringing it home. So there it is. And there, congratulations to Robert Cochran. What a run he had. Andrew Spears and Ethan Thompson now. We saw that battle, and Andrew Spears pulls out to quite a big lead over
As long
that.
as he doesn't wreck it right here, gets across that line, it'll be third place.
There you go.
Right
So
there.
another podium position. So wow, what a race for him. Ethan Thompson comes home fourth. Chuck McDonald, 5th. Robert McDonald, 6th. Brian Boyd, 7th, after having a late race mistake there on missing pit road. And man, so Devin Zimmerman again brings it home in P1 here in Dover. What a race, guys. I mean, if that was exciting racing there at the end, in between watching Spears come down, but man,
I thought Devin got it stuck on the banking there for a second. There we go. We'll get some proper burnouts here.
Right? So congratulations, Devin Zimmerman. Let's see if we can get him down here and dial him up.
Robert Cochran's studying how to do those donuts.
Oh, it was pretty close tonight. Devin Zimmerman, Jay and Tommy up in the booth. You got a copy, buddy.
Hey, how's it going, fellas?
Hey, man.
Man, what a comeback you had tonight. I'll tell you what, it wasn't an easy tonight here in Dover. Why don't you walk us through your race and let us know how you did it?
Tires, and more tires.
That kind of seemed like the theme this evening, man. Fourth race into the season. I know the season's been active for a long time, but we're still pretty early in it with the off weeks we've had. So you're definitely not out of contention for the championship. What brought you the W outside of just tires? What was with that last strategy where you and Robert did not make that last pit cycle?
Oh no, it was 100% tires. So yeah, they fall off after about 20 laps. So you could definitely see it on the short run. Spears, Robert McDonald, Brian. Even though Brian was able to hold on to his a little bit better, but definitely Spears and McDonald, you could see how fast they were and how fast you could push the car on the short run. But after about 15, 20 laps, this concrete surface just eats them up, and then they fall back. So, man, hats off to them, for doing that. But yeah, I didn't think that the short run was going to be it, and I had to do something different because I know how fast those two were on the short run. So once everybody started calling out pitting, I was like, I'm going to try and make it. So that was what I did, and actually the times kind of leveled out about 25.3. Once you got to about 25-second 0.3 lap, it was pretty stable after that. So, and I think at the end, the guys that did take tires were only running about a half a second quicker. So I knew they wouldn't catch as long as I just held onto the car. It was really tough to hold on to it. But yeah, hats off to Brian Boyd. He drove a great race. Fortunately, getting on pit road kind of cost him today, but yeah, he was driving a great race. McDonald, Ethan, as always. Cochran, I mean, he stayed with me. I'm quite surprised and really happy for Cochran for that, staying with me on that last run. But yeah, these guys, I mean, it's a tough track, tough car combo. So you got to hold onto the tires, and it's really tough to do.
Yeah,
Well, I'm
everyone
sure
did
it
a
threw
great
off your
job.
strategy as well because there were a lot of cautions out there tonight, a lot more than we're used to seeing in the TDR Vets and First Responders League. Normally, you guys maybe make one or two early and then you go rest green the checkered. And this one here, there was a lot of shakeup all throughout the first half. I'd say even 3/4 of the race with a lot of cautions out there. So I'm sure that threw off your strategy early. How'd you approach that going into the final run?
Yeah, so coming in, I thought it would definitely be a two-stopper just because of how the tires were. Maybe after about 40 laps, you want to pit. Um, I thought maybe there was a way to do a one stop in there. You could definitely do it on fuel, but tires were so vital. I didn't know if you could do it. So
It seemed like about
um,
every 20 laps they started to get a little
yeah, and
bogey.
as like I said, like about 20 laps is when the rear tire, that right rear, just wants to let go, and as soon as it does, off of turn 2 or turn 4, doesn't matter which one, you can really step the car out, and it's hard to catch. Um, Especially with the pinion, the racket pinion, it's so finicky. Trying to catch the car and maintain some speed is not possible. If you try to do both, you're going to end up wrecking it. If you just let off and try and regain the car, then I mean, you might save it, but you're going to lose a lot. So um, the biggest thing was just babying the car through the turn. You could pick it up so early here with the banking, but yeah, if you baby that throttle through the center of the turn and all the way around until you get off the turn, pretty much you can make the tires last.
Yeah, I think you said it. The rack and pinion steering really has changed the game for what the Cup Series has brought this year and what you guys have had to deal with. But tonight, you were the best one at doing it. So I know you got a handful of sponsors up on the car you want to shout out before we talk the second place.
Yeah, you were cutting out there, but I got the gist. But yeah, it's the rack opinion definitely a big game changer. And yeah, the sponsors on the car, we got Mission 22 on board. Big thank you to Brian Boyd for pulling that one in this this season for me, and also for Ethan there, Mission 22 sponsoring him as well. Big thank you to Maconi Setup Shop. Still got them on the sides of the car. Gonna run them there, and then Honey Press, of course, my wife's store, honeypress-nc.com. Yeah, and then Tank Racing, of course, Hunter Anesthesia, um, and then Healthcare Billing Incorporated. Really appreciate all of them, all their help, and of course Tank Racing. We got the money league that I'm a part of, and that's the race team that we have. So appreciate all of them helping me get better week in, week out. Doing practices with them. So
Oh, well,
um,
we know they appreciate a trip to victory lane for sure.
oh yeah, oh yeah. But yeah, appreciate you guys in the booth. Appreciate everybody watching. I know there wasn't as much of a car count today, but there was a lot of action. So hopefully it was exciting for everybody.
Oh, very.
Um,
Oh, it was very
yeah,
exciting for.
yeah. It's this was actually a pretty tough one. A lot of nerves trying to hold on to the car every single turn. So this is like Bristol's big brother. So very acted like Bristol tonight.
Absolutely. Well, congratulations on your win. Jim says congratulations and great comeback from Spears and also Robert Cochran. But man, what a race. Thank you for everything that you do service wise. I know you're out
Absolutely.
there defending and doing what you need to do for us for every day. And this is why we put it on. But man, it's great to see
Well,
you back in victory lane and great to talk to you.
and a
Yeah.
quick shout out to your return to civilianhood. You now are truly a civilian.
Yep, I was about to say that to Jay. Yep, I
Oh, okay.
actually, yeah, I signed the release last Friday, so I'm officially a civilian again. Did 11 years active duty Air Force. Served a lot of places: Afghanistan, Korea, California, Florida, and then North Carolina. But no, we're home in North Carolina. We want to stay, and then of course, my wife's got her store. She's looking to actually have a brick and mortar here, not too long down the road, and
Very nice. Well, you've earned it.
Family goals and military goals did not align anymore, and I'm gonna choose family goals all day. So,
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
yep. So yeah, I'm a civilian again. I actually do have a job lined up. I'm gonna be doing exactly what I was doing in the military, but on the civilian side with a civilian company, corporate life. So
Oh, so
looking
for
forward.
money.
Okay.
Yeah, looking forward to that. So that starts next week. So I got a week off to decompress and then right back to it.
Good deal, man.
You're
Well, we wish you the best of luck, and we have a week off here in the booth too. We'll be back November 7th for Michigan.
Oh yeah, and I like Michigan too. So I'm looking forward to that one. I
well,
appreciate it.
enjoy taking your kiddies out trick or treating. I'm sure you'll be taking them out
Oh
and
yeah.
don't take all of their candy. You can have some of the good stuff. You gotta leave some for them, Devin. Just letting you know. Yeah.
I don't like chocolates too much, so they keep those. I keep all the fruity ones.
Okay. Well, there you go. I gotta move you back down there. Congratulations on your win again tonight, and we will talk to you in 2 weeks.
I appreciate it. See you guys.
Man, what a run! It's good to talk to Devin Zimmerman up here again. Somebody who has really missed, being out of. Now it kind of feels like we're back to racing in the Vets and First Responders League,
Well,
with having Devin spoken to Devin this week. So
that's why I mentioned the off weeks. It feels like we've been in season 7 for a long time, but we're really only 4 races in. So, Devin technically has an early W, and, he's one of the guys we expect to get one. I can't wait for the next driver we have to talk to.
yeah, and I believe I did run into him. Robert, this is Jay and Tommy up in the booth. You got a copy?
Hey, how you guys doing?
Good, buddy. If you can just turn your mic up or speak up a little bit, man. What a run you had!
Yes, sir.
A second spot. Congratulations. Why don't you talk us through your race?
Well, Dover's one of those. So Dover's one of those races you got to conserve tires, and I was content with running in the back the way those guys were driving hard up front. So on that last pit stop, I got all my repairs done and got 4 tires and knew I had enough gas, and I just rode it out. There was 4 of us in the back there just running, and just took my time and waited.
You had run as high as fourth before that last cycle of pit stops and kind of faded back, and I kind of had the feeling you were hanging back with those guys, kind of letting the excitement, dwindle up front as they burned their equipment up. And staying out when Devin did really paid off for you, man. You picked up a lot of points tonight.
Yeah, um, the points are good. I just enjoy running this league with these guys. They're all good, and I got up to fourth. I had a little incident, uh, side swipe coming out of turn 4, and had to go in and fix that. That's why I dropped back because the car just wanted to drift up the track. So you gotta save the car for this track. This track's kind of tough with the high banking, and when people's tires get wore out, it's three lanes. So I just took my time and rode it out. I
Hey,
knew I
man,
was good on fuel.
you did a great job. And if you ever listen to Adam Rickey teach racecraft, position through attrition, if you don't have the fastest car every night out there, if you just stay out there and keep at it, you will start getting better finishes and getting more points. I mean, 4 races in, the amount of points you're going to get, it's probably going to get you sitting pretty. How do you feel going into Michigan 2 weeks from now?
Oh, I love Michigan. Michigan's one of those tracks I really need a long run on too. For some reason, I'm not good on restarts. I'm not sure. Everyone drives around me on restarts. I can't figure it out. I adjust my pedals all the time, trying to find that what the issue is, but I'll take a long run
Right, and
any
you're
day.
very strong there at Michigan, so we're looking forward to it. Jim actually called you, I believe, last season, said that you were going to win it with Michigan. You've had your looks at Michigan for the top spot amongst a lot of good drivers that we would consider in these leagues. And now you're knocking on the door of a win. So Michigan, I'm looking forward to seeing you. I'd love to call you from Victory Lane up in Michigan, but
Yeah, one
Absolutely.
day.
Yeah, we see improvement every week. We finally got you up here on the podium, up in the booth to interview, and this is something that Jay likes to do. So we know you're Navy. Your car has been a staple of the league for I think three
Oh
or
yeah.
four seasons now. What's
Uh,
the story? What's the story behind your service?
13 years in the Navy. I did my first 4 years doing security and aviation maintenance. Um, Worked. I was a final checker, quality insurance guy before the planes launched off the flight deck of the carrier. And then
Sounds like a
the
pretty
war.
important job.
Right?
It was an awesome job. Awesome job.
This one's good to go. Whoosh.
Yep. And then the war ended. The Gulf War ended, and my rate was overmanned, and I tried to bluff the system, and they let me go. And they called me back 10 months later, and I ended up being a um, diesel mechanic on a ballistic missile submarine for the rest of my time in the Navy.
Oh, very cool.
So
That's awesome. And then there's a little known fact that not too many people know about, but I'm going to throw it out there anyway. You spent some time with an actual NASCAR driver, Steve Park, back in the day. How
yes,
was that experience?
awesome. And I think this is why I'm good at Dover and Bristol. Those are two good races that we ran at. Dover was actually my very first race with a Park in the 31 Wayland car.
Okay.
And then we then we almost won Bristol. We led a lot of laps at Bristol, and finished fourth at Bristol. And then of course that was the year that Steve got into the accident in Darlington, and then September was when I found out I had to have surgery, and that was the end of my Navy career. But
Oh,
the
man.
team brought me down to Miami, and they made sure that I received a Chevy manufacturer's championship hat, knowing that I was a Ford guy. So, so good times with that crew. Still hang out with them. We're still doing Trans Am racing and stuff like that.
Very cool.
Cool.
Very cool, man.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. Well, it's
Yeah.
really good to speak to you up here. You know, when we see you in there, like I said, you're kind of a staple in here. You and Chuck McDonald. I mean, a lot of guys have been out here. You've been almost here all 7 seasons, if not, I believe he may have been here from the very beginning. So we're looking forward. You're knocking on that door, putting some points down there. You're slowly, every season, you're moving up more and more in the points, and you're getting closer and closer to that front. And like I said, I think next week in Michigan is going to be one of your strongest suits. So we'd love to see you at least get another podium. If not win it, that would be awesome.
Let's hope the weather's good.
Hey, if you're still on pit road when the live coverage is over, I'll give you some tips on those restarts too.
Dude, I'm telling you, I can't figure it out. I don't know. I just, everything may not be firing right upstairs. But
I got you. I
that's
know
another
exactly how
story.
to do it every time. I got you.
Well, Robert, thank you very much for coming up here. I know sometimes it's a little nerve-wracking up here, especially when you're not used to it. But man, congratulations! I hope that we can get you past the being in the booth a little bit more and speaking to us guys, because we really don't bite. Tommy might, but I don't. And
Well, listen, it's always a pleasure talking to you guys. You do a good job, and I really appreciate everything you guys do for this league. And
we
just
couldn't do what
TDR
we
in
do.
general.
We couldn't do
Without
what
you.
we do if you guys hadn't done what you did. So
what you did.
all the thanks belongs to you guys.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that, and I really do, and I really enjoy being here. Thank you,
All right.
guys.
All right, man. We'll go celebrate with your drivers. P2, a ton of points on the line. We're gonna go talk to the guy that finished behind you. So.
All right.
Awesome.
All right, buddy. Have a
All right.
good week. We'll see you throughout the week.
Yeah, take care.
Man, what a great guy to always come down, and you never really hear from him, but he's been a staple of this. Like bringing home P2. I mean, that was awesome to talk to him tonight. Absolutely wonderful.
Consistently improves week over week over week, and we finally got him on a podium. Finally got him in the booth. I expect to see it a lot more. And now let's talk to the man who finished just behind him.
And what a run tonight! I mean, this is the second podium that we've seen from this gentleman here, Andrew. Jay and Tommy up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you. Can y'all hear me all right?
We can hear you
Yeah,
loud
we
and clear, man.
Awesome.
What a run you had tonight. I mean, everybody had a lot of troubles. You weren't the only one out there. It seemed like everybody had some sort of trouble out there tonight. But to come up and drive past Ethan Thompson in those closing laps to bring you home another podium spot. I mean, this is your second podium in a row. Congratulations on that. And why don't you talk us through your race?
Well, yeah, well, I'll be honest with you. If you would have told me that I'd finished P3 in practice, I'd have told you were lying.
Tough track.
That was the track was definitely slick during practice, and I don't know if they had it to where it carry over to the state, but something changed after qualifying. I definitely did some adjustments to the car after practice going into qualifying just to see if I could get something happening. And actually, Rob was able to get a 23.1 in practice, or get a 23.1 in qualifying, and I was on track to make a 23.1 for qualifying, but hit the wall coming out of turn 4 on that second lap. So I ended up starting like P5, and Rob was, I guess, my teammate on track tonight. So me and him was racing with each other, trying to get each other to the front, and we made the moves early, trying to get up there and stay. And I don't know the Toyota, I don't know. It was strong all night long for sure.
Absolutely. I mean, but that last drive, Devin Zimmerman, Robert Cochran stayed out. Was it I saw that you were leading and then you had some issue. You cracked the inside wall, came down pit road. Did you have anything? Did you save your quick repair? Or was it like not that much damage when you came back out?
I had 2.5 minutes of optional damage, and I'm like, you know what? Well, and I say that to say this. I grabbed the wall early on in the race, and when I grabbed the wall, I guess it pushed my toe out of line just enough to help me turn a little bit more. And that's exactly what happened at the end. When I tapped that inside wall or the inside wall, I can't really explain it. I went down pit road, got 4 tires, put some more weight in my rear end with gas, and took back off. And I mean, I hawked down Ethan. I mean, that was my goal. Was I had 20 laps. I know I had 20 something laps. I was on track to get Ethan, and that was my goal. And
So, if I had to guess, are you from Southern Alabama?
I'm from Northeast Alabama.
Okay. You know what gave it away? I say all that to say this. I've got family in Tuscaloosa, and that is something that everyone in my family says. I said all that to say this, and then they change the whole the whole thing they're talking about.
Yeah, I'm from Northeast Alabama.
Good deal, man. Good deal.
So,
Heck of a finish though. Third place. Well, so the final pass on Ethan Thompson, you and Ethan both got your laps back the hard way, and then I think we're 4 laps to go, and you have to get around Ethan. How hard was that for you, or did you just have the better car?
I don't really, I can't answer that without boasting myself over Ethan. And Ethan was a strong competitor tonight, all night long. But he pitted about 3 laps sooner than I did. And when I wasn't going to pit. And when I smacked the inside wall, I'm like, you know what? I might as well go ahead and pit because I've already lost the position. And I knew that Ethan was, on 3 lap older tires than I was. And usually I was having tire stints of about 27 laps. So
a little
I had
longer
plenty.
than everybody else. It seems like right about lap 20, everybody started to get a little squirrely.
Yeah, and I'm not. I mean, I was Tokyo drifting it around the corners there at the end. So
yeah, we
So
saw that.
a
You
little
were
bit of that.
but it was definitely something that was my goal, was to beat Ethan tonight. And sorry, Ethan, I hate to say it, but I had the better car apparently. So
Well, I think Ethan should be honored that beating him was a goal of anybody's.
Right.
that proves how strong of a competitor he is, that he becomes a target, right?
yeah, I mean, I know I couldn't get around the track. If I had 20 more laps, I probably could have got back around the track to at least get second. But I didn't, so I was just gonna again hawk down third like I did last week and maintain it.
Hey, heck of a run. We're only 4 races into the season because of all these off weekends we've had, and we're probably going to have a few more. So this season is going to run a little longer than some of the other ones do. How do you feel going into Michigan on November 7th?
It's my strongest track. All the wins that I've had in iRacing since I started
let me write that down right here.
It's my strongest track. So I've won it in Indy a few times. I've won it in Next Gen, in another league that I race in. I've won it in the Gen 6. It's overall just a strong track for me.
Very good.
And I don't qualify well because I haven't figured out how to qualify at that track. But once I get in the pack, and you'll see me put it 5 wide in a few turns.
Yeah, we've had a lot of drivers say that Michigan's a preferred track of theirs, and it's a track I think everyone likes. It's not, I wouldn't say it's easy to drive, but it's a track. It's a driver's track. There's a lot of lanes you can use, a lot of stuff you can do to kind of make things happen. So I think that weekend is going to be one heck of a weekend to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just gotta keep it off of the wall and make sure I don't get grabbed. I mean, tonight I got grabbed by one of the guys that spun in front, and I had nowhere to go. So That's actually when I used my quick repair, and I've prayed that I didn't get in anything else.
Well, Monster Miles takes no prisoners, and there's a lot of collateral damage. It
That's
might
very
it
true.
might be a mile long, but it ain't a mile wide.
No, Miles is definitely rough.
All right,
Absolutely.
Andrew. Well, congratulations on your third another podium finish here. We got to kind of wrap things up here, running out of time. But definitely good to see you up there on the podium again. Good to talk to you up here in the booth again. Looking forward to next week. One of your stronger tracks. You and Robert Cochran, it's one of his stronger tracks too. So maybe keep an eye out for him. Maybe you guys can bring home one too. Another podium finish. That would be great to see you guys up here again.
Yeah, I've noticed consistency is key with these playoffs and these championships. So if I can keep keep finishing top five, I think we'll finish well at the end of the year.
And points matter.
Absolutely. Every point does matter. So you got to come out for everyone. Can't miss anything. And you're knocking on the door at third spot right now. So podium on the point standings for the driver standings. So keep it up. Keep up what you're doing. And it's glad to see you out there and enjoy watching the race tonight. Like I said, I'm going to switch you back down there. Have a good weekend. We'll talk to you in 2 weeks from Michigan.
Yep, I look forward to it.
All right, Tommy. Well, that just about wraps things up here from Dover, Delaware. Go down to final running order this evening. Devin Zimmerman brings it home first to Robert Cochran, and second, Andrew Spears. Third, Ethan Thompson brings it home. Fourth, Chuck McDonald. Fifth, Robert McDonald. Sixth, Brian Boyd. Seventh, Robin Parton. Eighth, Jason Hall. Ninth, Paul Bilson. 10th, Ryan Elmore. 11th. And that wraps up the final running order this evening. Very fun, exciting race this evening. A lot more cautions than I was expecting.
Yep.
And it provided for some strategies at the end. Different people leading. I mean, talk about Brian Boyd showing his dominance, Chuck McDonald showing dominance. There's a lot of cars out there.
Every race we've had so far this season, the mixture of the high caliber drivers that have carried on, 3, 4 seasons deep here in the season 7, and all the new names that have popped up this season that also bring a lot of speed to the table. It's completely unpredictable to every race. We kind of see the cream rise to the top, and there's a lot of names that we're seeing up front that we're not used to seeing, and I think that's what's really driving the excitement. It doesn't matter how many laps are run under yellow, right? There's only one lap that matters, and the last lap has been completely unpredictable through all 4 races. Well, no,
Absolutely.
I take it back. Watkins Glen was a little bit predictable, only because Ryan Shelton is an alien.
That's right. But other than that, no,
but the
I mean,
race
we've
for
had
second was good.
races. 4 different races, 4 different winners going into this series, and that's not something that this league is used to seeing.
Nope.
Usually we see a couple of drivers that assert their dominance up front, stay up front, but man, Chuck threw that wrench in off the very beginning. Ethan Thompson came in with that second one. Ryan Shelton last week at Watkins Glen. Tonight, Devin Zimmerman reestablishes he's a winner again here back at Dover,
Yeah,
putting him as undefeated. So
Ethan
he's got a
Thompson,
good run
our
going here.
first repeat back-to-back champion, relegated to 4th place in this event.
And actually driven by, Andrew Spears. That wasn't one that was given away by him at the end. He was really running it out, trying to catch down, the leaders, get what he could get out of it. And here comes Andrew Spears to just pass him on that last lap, take that podium. So it's been a fun season so far. I'm really enjoying season 7. So I think we got quite a battle going on. It's not going to be one that people are going to walk away with. This is definitely one that you're going to have to pay attention to week after week as more people come, more part-timers come and go, and they've been quick too. So it's just a matter of time before we see Ryan Boyd up there. I think Cochran's got a good shot in 2 weeks in Michigan, and Andrew Spears says he's fine. Yeah, so it's going to be fun. It's going to be a fun season coming up for sure.
Through the first half, we do get one more weekend off, so we will be off next Monday for the Halloween festivities that all the kids are partaking in, and then 3 weeks in a row, Michigan, Bristol, Kansas. That'll take us through the first half of the season. And I believe there is a special race halfway through the season that'll be run at a longer length, if I remember correctly.
Usually is. I'm not sure which one that is, but we'll figure that out as we get closer to it. But as we sit now, it's been one heck of a season so far. Only 4 races in, 4 different winners. I'm looking forward to Michigan, Bristol, Kansas. I mean, we've got a lot of good tracks coming up where there could be even more winners on the season. So never know. And there's a lot of strong drivers and getting stronger week in, week out.
Absolutely. We'll close it down.
Same back time, same back channel in 2 weeks. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, but make sure you hit that notification button. So that way you know when we do go live anytime. Share it with everybody that you know. who may enjoy watching a bunch of veterans out here. If they're going to share one, this season would definitely be one to share with everybody that you know out there. Thank you for Bob Burlew for stepping in tonight for our admin. He did a great job out there tonight in race control, and it was a busy, busy night for him tonight. So same back time, same back channel. Tommy, take it away, and I will see you all in Michigan.
Absolutely. One last rundown of the sponsors for tonight. Big shout out to McConey Setup Shop LLC, McConeySetupShop.com. Their setups, your victories. BACCcharities.com, keeping the fun and funded. Go make a donation at BACCcharities.com. Give back with BACC. B&B Wraps out of Pennsylvania, from coffee cups to semi trucks, they can get it wrapped for you. Facebook.com/B.B Racing Wraps. And of course, Tyler Daniels Racing. Find us on Facebook. We will get you hooked up. If you know a veteran that iRaces or even just wants to get into it, send them our way. We will help them get set up and figure out how to do it. Big thanks to Jay joining me up in the booth tonight. Another shout out to Bob Burlew for taking over race control tonight in Andrew Bisnet's absence as he's on vacation. On behalf of BACC Sports, Jay Downham, and the rest of the team over here, we will see you guys soon.